Well, that went a bit wrong. My buttons are pressing the wrong things. Hello, welcome everyone. Warhammer Sunday. It's already gone wrong. Yeah, it wasn't supposed to say thank you for watching. Quick show that, wasn't it? Hey everyone, welcome. Why is it doing that? Let me just fix that. That's the wrong damn button. Damn it, Elgato. Really are rubbish sometimes. That's one. That should go there. Right. Here. Titles should be there. There we go. Checking it's all the right ones. Ted working? Let's check if Ted's working.
Slap it on.
Yeah, Ted's always working. Ted never rests. Anyway, yes, welcome everybody. Hello, hello, hello. It is Warhammer Sunday. Everything looks really dark, I know. I've been fiddling with the graphics again and it always just, I don't know. Never works for me. Nothing ever pleases me. I'm never happy. Never happy. Anyway, yes, welcome, welcome. It's Warhammer Sunday. It's that time of the week when I crack on with the Warhammers, doing all the building ready for painting in future times. And of course, as always, I'm building my Space Wolves that we've been working on for the last few weeks. Before we get going, as always, quick shout outs to all the relevant people that make all this channel and this content possible. First and foremost, my patrons and channel members, my patrons who support me at patreon.com/modelmakingguru. Best is there. And of course my members who became members just by clicking the join button underneath any one of my videos or live streams. They all support me each month. They pay the bills. A massive thank you to them. If you would like to help guarantee this channel stays existing and make sure that I can keep doing this, because I do this for my living, please do consider becoming a patron or a channel member. From as little as £1 a month, you can help keep the channel alive, and it means I can keep doing this for you, keep making all kinds of content. So please do consider it if you haven't already. And of course, to my corporate supporters, emodels.co.uk and goblingaming.co.uk, your one-stop shops for all your model making and tabletop gaming needs. Links in the description below the video for those two shops. Please do check them out, and if you need to pick some stuff up, either model making or tabletop gaming related, do check them out. Use the links in the description below. They'll get you sorted out, and it'll tell them that I sent you, and I'll get some income from that as well. So do go and check them out. Anyway, yes, we're going to be cracking on with the Space Wolves. If you remember, we're working on the Space Wolves Combat Patrol. Yes, we are. We built the whatever it was we were building last time. Let me just get that. If you remember, I did start on the Prophecy of the Wolf set, which I bought from Simon Reynolds, two-time Golden Demon winner, my good friend, who sold me the Space Marine stuff. So we got all them builded. I have also, off camera, now constructificated the three Outriders, I think they're called, the three Outriders that Luke from Black Rifle Model Works. And I always try and say Black Rifle. I don't know why. My brain wants to say Black Rifle Model Works. I don't know. My brain's an idiot. I hate my brain, and my brain hates me. There's an ongoing war between my conscious and subconscious, and it always gets messy. Yes, I built the three Space Marine bikes that Luke from BM, Black Rifle Model Works. Use your words, Fox. Think. Black Rifle Model Works. Red lorry, yellow lorry, red lorry, yellow lorry. Yes, he sent me these very kindly, so I've had those built up. You can see I have applied to two of these guys the Space Wolves helmets that were very kindly sent to me by Andy Sutherland. All the Space Wolves I'm going to build, I forgot about these helmets when I built the first lot from the Prophecy of the Wolf, so they're all just kind of generic fabulators or whatever they are, but they've kind of got specific helmets anyway. But for all the combat patrol ones now that don't have helmets on, they're going to have their normal heads, but for the helmeted ones I'm going to dump the Primaris helmets and give them these Space Wolves slightly unofficial knockoff helmets that Andy Sutherland really kindly 3D printed. I've got like 50 of these, so it should do me quite nicely. I've done some tests with some primer and they do come out looking quite good, so it's pretty cool. So we've got these three built. Quick review for you of these Outriders Space. Is it really dark or is it just me? I don't know. I can't tell. Anyway, quick review of these Space Marine bikes, because as you know, I hate building the old traditional Space Marine bikes. I hate those old kits. They're horrible. These are much better, not without issues, but much, much better, simpler to build, and much faster to clean up. Do have an issue with them though, and that is the honking great mould line, or seam line even, that goes down the middle here. This armour on the top here is two sides, left and right, and you click them together. The fit isn't fantastic. You get a honking great seam right down the middle there, which you're going to have, if you want it to look nice and neat and tidy, you're going to have to fill in. There's a couple of raised details as well that make that more tricky. Now, I'm lucky because I can stick all this Space Wolves iconography and stuff over it. And for this little raised bit here, I've had to put a piece of plastic card and some rivets on there because I don't do filling. I can't be bothered filling. The gap is a bit too big for squishing with the glue. Yeah, so I wasn't impressed with that. Massive, dirty, great seam line, or mould line there. No, seam line even, get them right. Massive, dirty, great seam line. So, but other than that, they're pretty spanky. I like them. Going to be tricky to paint. I've not glued them to the bases. They're just pushed into place because I need to get underneath them. So they're not glued down. When I paint them, I'll mount them on a little stick and paint them. It's going to be tricky, but we'll get there. We'll get them sorted out. There'll be some fiddly paintwork ahead. Yeah, I do like them. I was going to add more Space Wolfy stuff to them, to Space Wolf them out a bit more, but I didn't. I thought I had loads of little Space Wolf bits like dangly pendants and stuff, but I didn't. I haven't got those, so I'm like, oh well. I probably won't get round to painting them for a while, so I will at some point get some more Space Wolf bits, like pendants and furs and things. I could probably try my hand at making some fur from green stuff, but I've never tried that before. I might give that a go, but I'm not that fussed. But we'll get them painted up in Space Wolf colours anyway. They've got the awesome helmet. So yes, I hadn't shown you those, so we've got them done. So now we're going to crack on with the Combat Patrol set that I bought, which again is Space Wolves, but it's the current rack of slightly disappointing. It's just normal Intercessors with Space Wolves decals. You've got the Invictus mobile suit Gundam thing. You've got a load of Intercessors, which are just Intercessors with Space Wolf decals. You've got the dudes at the front here who are just normal Reavers, but you get a couple of sprues for Space Wolf heads and bits and bobs. So they've got some Space Wolf bits. So they are cranking out these generic Space Marines with a few bits stuck on that you can make them Space Wolves. So they need to start doing some more proper full-on Space Wolfy bits. Like I've built Lieutenant Aldor Icepelt, just in case I forget that's who he is. And he is Space Wolfed. He's got the fur thing around his crotch and a fur cloak. So he is properly Space Wolfed up. But they need to do some more specific Space Wolves. They've got a few, but not a lot. Most of them are just generic. So anyway, yeah, we're going to get these built. And we started last week on the Invictus battle suit, or the little tiny My First Gundam, as I like to call it. So we'll carry on with that today. We'll carry on with that. I've got him finished up. I've got both heads on the base taped down there because I need to write that down so I know they're there. Where's my pen? Where's my Sharpie? Hang on. Need me Sharpie now. Heads. I can't read that. It's so clunky. I've got both heads under there. There's a helmet head and a not helmet head. The not helmet head looks fantastic. It's got sideburns and stuff. And the helmet head is a normal Primaris helmet with like a wolf tail ponytail thing at the top, which looks really good, like a top knot. But I don't know about painting the heads. This is what I don't know yet, you see. I'm never the big fan of painting bare heads, especially when the Space Wolves have got the face hair and stuff. And he's got big wide eyes, and I don't do eyes. I've not decided yet whether I'm going to give him a head or a helmeted head. And if I do him a helmeted head, I'll give him the wolf one. But I don't know yet, so I haven't decided what he's going to have. So I've got both heads just taped down on the base there, just in case I make a decision. Anyway, let's have a quick look at chat before we get going. First person in was Pascal Leverse, and then Nimcinder in. Did Fox say anything about not being on because he's 20 minutes late? I'd only do a 5-minute countdown now. I don't do a 15-minute countdown for this anymore because I made those titles for the E-Model stream and they're so good I wanted them for my stream, so I'm using them from now on. Reggie Models in, so Spoot, Thwip and Poing. Poing, I'm not familiar with that one. Mayhem Model Works is in, welcome to you. David Sanderson and Panzer Koenig are both in. Welcome to them. We have Fox, did you do a silly? No, I've not made a mess. George Gabriel's in. Hey George, nice to see George out and about. George hasn't been around for a while, so welcome to George. Hello, hello, hello. Divine Panda E says, howdy chat, happy Sunday. Welcome, Divine Panda E. So we've got Phil East, afternoon all, just a flying hello as Arsenal kick off at 3. Have a good one. You're giving up this wonderfulness for rubbish football. Honestly, such a heathen. Football's rubbish. Sport is rubbish. Don't watch sport. Sport is just don't watch sport. Sport's rubbish. It's just a lot of men running around getting breathless and sweating. It's not fun. There's better ways to watch lots of men running around getting... Never mind, moving on. Where are we up to? Scaly Models, of course, Dad at Scaly Models and Colin at Festa67's workshop. Big, massive hugs to both of those two ne'er-do-wells. They are your lovely moderators at the moment in chat. They'll keep you safe, they'll keep you protected in chat, they'll make sure you're behaving. If you cross them, they'll cut you into little tiny pieces and feed you to the mice, and then feed the mice to the pigs, and then feed the pigs to the horses, and then feed the horses to the cows, feed the cows to the dogs, then feed the dogs to the bigger dogs, and then they'll launch all the bigger dogs into the heart of the sun. So don't cross the mods. They'll be lovely otherwise. But welcome to both of them. Welcome to everybody who's just come off the back of Colin's show. Colin and Dave do their Sunday brunch, so they've just finished that. Where are we? Let's have a look. Who else has come in? It's that typewriter from Sesame Street again. Max McGinn is in. Hi everyone, welcome Max. Lee Stevenson, afternoon all. Welcome Lee. Raging Modeler, currently trying to defeat Lady Unaleska on Final Fantasy X, and it's not going well at all. Don't know anything about Final. Divine Panda says woo. Where are we up to? Everybody's saying hello to everybody else. Common Road Junction's in. Hey Archie, how you doing, my friend? Welcome, welcome. Wayne Haywood says afternoon all. George Gable says bear heads or bear heads, as in bear or bear. Bear. It might be bear heads or wolf heads. What I should do though, I think I've seen it, but I'm going to make a load of space wolves. But at some point, I might do a load of space bears, because you should have space bears. They're like a branch of the space wolves, but they're bigger and bulkier. There's an idea actually. Where are we up to? Quite the escalation from feeding to being launched into the sun. Exactly. There's always a process, and the process must be followed. And if you're a ne'er-do-well in chat, you deserve every bit of that process. Oh yes. Now, of course, Dad hasn't asked the question yet. Now, of course, Dad hasn't asked the question yet. Got to wait 30 seconds now. So Dad will ask the question and we'll allow you to answer. But anyway, in the meantime, we're going to crack on. How is everyone? I hope you're all well. I'm not doing the big coffee today. I've got the big waters instead because I'm quite dehydrated. And also, I forgot I've only got a 5-minute pre-roll and I hadn't got my coffee ready. So I'm like, oh, bugger, it's only 5. Oh, I had to go and get some water. So, yes. Gary Reynolds is in. Welcome, Gary. He says, working on a Polar Lights 1350 Enterprise. Now, there's a kit. Right, so, if you remember last time, we started to build the crotch tula area, which looks a bit like a robot from WALL-E, with the 2 eyes there. Or it could be like a spider with all the legs taken off. Or it could be a robot from Katamari, because it's got the... Never mind, moving on. So we got the legs started building, and we built the crotchula area. And what we need to do now is build the feetings, because then the feetings can be attached to put the feetings and the leggings and the crotchings onto the basula. Space Bears are being done by Jazza Matey. Who's Jazza? I don't know who Jazza is. No idea who Jazza is, but welcome, Russ Matthews. Yes, I have seen someone do Space Bears. I've seen Space Bears before, and it gave me the idea I should do some at some point, because they're kind of cool. But yes, I don't know who Jazza is. Hansa Koenig. Dad's busy brewing up his next trouser shenanigans. Oh, yeah. If you were watching Colin's stream earlier on with the Sunday brunch with him and Dad and Dave, somebody who may be in the chat and still who hasn't posted the question yet may have done a bit of a trouser trumpet. It's quite funny. It's quite hilarious. Anyway, I'm going to put the lenses on. You know what this means. If you are watching this, and you're not in the live chat, please do come and join the live chat. It's a good time, can be had by all. It's a friendly environment. Everybody in there is lovely. They'll keep you safe. They'll keep you in conversation, and it's a good time. So if you're watching this, click on the YouTube icon that's down here underneath the video somewhere. That will take you to YouTube where you can watch it and join the live chat as well. Should do. But if you want to, I'll start again. I've got my lenses on now, so that's all going to be blurred. This chat here that's on my iPad is going to be blurred like hell, so I can't see the chat very well. So if you want to get my attention, and please do, either do like Mayhem's just done, put at Model Making Guru, it puts my name in an orange box. You can put your comment in all capitals, I might see it. Or if you want to, you can do a super chat by clicking the little dollar symbol at the bottom of the chat window. That puts your comment in a big coloured box. It may put an animation thing up here, but I think I turned it off because it was broken. And it'll let me know that there's a comment there and I can't miss it then. So do feel free. And it also supports the channel at the same time. Mayhem Modworks. Jezza does a lot of craft and create stuff. I've never heard of him. Or her. I don't know. Could be her. So I don't know if that's the one I've seen. I've seen something about Space Bears, but that was a while ago. Probably where I got the idea. I saw someone do space sharks, which apparently is an actual faction. Now that sounds good. Right, Dad's just failing miserably. So Mayhem Model Works has asked the question: bench and belly. What's on your bench and what's in or going into your belly? There you go, Dad. You've rendered yourself redundant in this particular stream now. Don't know. Honestly, Colin, give him a slap. Yes, what's on your bench? What you're working on right now? Doesn't have to be a model. Could be a drawing or a painting, or you could be building a shelf. And what's in your belly? What are you having for your dinner? Or what have you had for your dinner? Do tell me. Use all the words. Where are we up to? Mayhem says, yes, Caradons. Got no reference to what? He also said he didn't think the mic would pick it up. Epic. Oh, yeah, when Dad trumped on Colin's stream. Lee Stevenson's in. Hey, Lee. And he's asking Candygram when he's taking orders for his concentrifier. And also welcome Candygram. Yes, Candygram is making an awesome, awesome thing from drilling barrels. We've sent him off and he's doing that and it's awesome. I'm trying to do three things at once here. So, yes. Right, anyway, let's crack on. So, we've built the leg parts. We need to attach them to the crotch and then get them on the base. But the reason I haven't done that yet and attach them to the crotch is I need to get the feet done first because you can pivot them around. There does seem to be some play in the legs here. I think I said this last time. There is some play to the positioning of the legs, so you can have some fun with them, but not really a lot of... Right way around. Which way around does it go? That way. That's the front. Where's the front? There's the front. So you can have there's a little bit of play to them, and you can have it there, or you could have it there, because it's like a square peg and a square hole. But you kind of got 4 different positions, but I don't really think you're going to have a leg like that, because that would look a bit weird. So let's get the foot parts. We'll see which bits we need. Let me tiptoe through the sprues. Tiptoe through the sprue lips. And we've got 3 sprues for the Invictus My First Gundam. Let's see what we need. Vesta67 says guns. Lots of guns. If you didn't watch me and Colin on Friday night, do you remember how a few weeks ago Colin held up a big heavy stubber on the camera and I said, what's that? And he went, it's a gun. Well, on Friday night, he was making some corrugated, fake corrugated sheet metal with a big squishy thing that squishes the plastic and makes corrugations. Big toothpaste tube. And I said to him, I meant to say, what is that tool you're using? Because I didn't know what the tool was. But instead, I just kind of said, what's that? And then before I had a chance to finish the sentence, he went, it's corrugating. I'm like, fail, never mind. Oh well, it's typical Foxy moment there. So, where are we? Need to get the feet. So I need parts E68, 65, 67, 66. This is going to take a while. Okay, so there's 4 of those. Okay, they're all the same then. So I need all the feet. Hang on. Where's the E sprue? Okay, 60. Are these different sizes? 67. Right, he's only got three feet. So 67. 66, 66, and see. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so it's got a big one and 2 littlies. It's got a big Lee and 2 littlies. Big Lee. Right. So. Right. Sorry, I think there's somebody at the door. Give me 1 second, folks. I'll be back in 1 second. No, false alarm. Sorry about that. We have a super chat. Divine Panda has put a $10 super chat through. You can see it on the screen there, that big yellow. Well, you can almost see it. That yellow thing there. Thank you. And a super sticker with a Chibi Inu and a big squishy heart. Thank you very much, Divine Panda. That's very, very kind of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're lovely and I love you. Thank you very much. Helped out massively. And he's doing a little squishy heart of caredness as well. Oh, thank you. I don't know if it did an animation up here. I may have turned it off because it was broken. Thank you very much. Where are we up to? So, bench and belly. Common Road Junction says, Yarp Belly Cheerios, bench Panther A. In my absence, I was doing the things to stop the body parts. Okay, I'll let you off then. Dad was doing pooping. Bench is still my Dungeons and Dragons Shield Maiden drawing that Nim's working on. It's very nice, very lovely drawing. Working specifically on the snake. Belly has yet to be decided. Noodles or Arby's, one of the two. You know it's going to be one of the two. Yes, do check out Nim's progress shots of her drawing in the Boom Hut. It's very, very good. Very, very good. Wayne Haywood, Bench, Wild West Exodus Posse, Belly, Sticky Toffee Pudding, and custard. Sticky Toffee Pudding and custard. Yes. Yes. Just northern nice. Let's have a look. To Candygram. Thanks for asking. Yesterday was productive. I bought some aluminium stock and drill bits and made a concentrifier that I think will work for making a small run. Cool. I did say to Candygram, is he able to adjust his concentrifier? Or I actually said to him, will it work with the Games Workshop drill? So I think he's making some tweaks and changes to see if he can get that to work. As in its initial state, it wouldn't have been compatible with the Games Workshop drill pin vise thing. This is what I use. Well, I think he's looking into that, and that'll be awesome. What else is chat doing? Dad says, I've just had hard-boiled eggs. Oh, dear Lord. The problem is he's not on microphone, so he can't parp on my stream. There's no comedy to be had from that. Oh, well. Panzer Koenig. Belly later shall be some toast with spicy cheese. Bench Mong... I'll say that again. Belly shall... I need coffee, but I haven't got any. Belly later shall be some toast with spicy cheese. Bench is the Mong... why am I saying 7? ZSU 23-4. It has guns. Honestly, I'm just having trouble reading. George Gabriel, Bench is finishing up this Stormcast, started on Chris's stream. Belly is empty. Yeah, George is painting up this. If you watch Chris's hangout on Thursday, George is very, very slowly painting up this fantastic looking Stormcast. He's doing all the kind of glazing and object source lighting and stuff. And George has come a long way in the 5 minutes he's been painting. I tell you, like a week ago, he didn't even know which end of a paintbrush was the right one, and like 5 minutes later, he's painting like a professional. It's quite impressive, most impressive. Right, what have I done now? I've just cut off these bits. 5, 6, 7, 8. There should be another set of those somewhere. Somewhere. I'm missing a... There should be 2 lots of feet. That's 1 feet. And then there's this bit. Hang on. Oh, there's 1 foot that... Oh, that's weird. There's 1 foot that's got individual toes, and there's 1 foot that's just the foot. That's bizarre. And kind of weird. Because I'm looking for the other bits, and I'm like, no, it's just a foot. How very strange. So this foot, regardless, just sits there like that, and you've got no choice. I think maybe then your option is you compose this one a little bit. I think it has maybe 1 toe slightly forward, so I'm not sure. Where up to? Candygram said it may take him a couple of weeks to get his order of aluminium, because then he can start. Because everybody said we want to buy one of these concentrifiers, so he's got a bit of a business going now. Let's have a look. What are we up to? To answer the question, the concentrifier I made yesterday is compatible with Games Workshop 1mm drill bit. Ooh, we're liking that. Will it work with the smaller drill bits? I think that'll probably be he'll probably be something he does. I'll say that. Wow, hang on. Let me drink this pretend coffee. I think it's going to take him a little while to develop it to work with all the bits. It's not going to work with all the bits straight away. You have to go one at a time, I think. These things happen slowly. Will it be worth putting a thread into the Boom Hut, says Candygram. Yep, go for it. I mean, we do say no buying and selling in the Boom Hut, but we'll make an exception for this one because we all want to buy it as well anyway. So yeah. Raging Modeler says, well, that ended badly. Phase 3, Megadeth. She wasn't wrong. It was insta-kill. I don't know what any of that means. Beyond Hope is in. Welcome, Beyond Hope. Right, I've got the sniffles already. let's get on with some work. So, clean up time. Yeah, so I think for this concentrify, we do have a no buying and selling rule in the boom hut, but I think for this, I will take an executive decision. It's scary for me to say, and we'll make an exception in this case because so many people in the boom hut have said they want to get one, and it's kind of at the request of people in the boom hut that he's doing it. I think it's a bit stupid to then not allow him to do that. So we'll make an exception for the concentrify. Don't assume though you can start buying and selling things in the boom hut. You can't. Yes. If you don't know what we're talking about with the boom hut, by the way, I'll put a link in the chat for you, assuming my buttons are still working. Hopefully, it's my group on Facebook. It's a safe space for model makers of all ages and skill levels to hang out and have fun and show off their work and get advice and help. If you're not already a member of the Model Makers Boom Hut, do go and join it. It's the best group on Facebook for model making. We don't allow snark or bitchiness. We just do not allow it. The moment somebody does a bit of snark, they no longer exist in the group. It's amazing. The turnaround time from snark to gone is minutes. We have ejected people for being snarky. We don't allow it. Right, so these little nubs off. I always reluctant to do the nubs on feet because you want the feet, in one way you want the feet to look nice and clean, as in crisp, not all scuffed and chunks taken out of them and stuff. On the other hand, they are the feet and they're going to get battered, so kind of a rock and a hard place. That's a bit cleaned up. Go in with the knifage. Knife safety. Are we on camera? Yes. Hopefully you can all see and hear okay, and hopefully it doesn't look too bad. As usual, like I say, I've been farting around with the lighting and the cameras again, trying resolving issues. The reality of it is that when I see the stream, I look at all various things and think this is bad and the lighting's bad and the colour's wrong. And in reality, you guys don't notice. It looks fine to you guys, to everybody else. It's only me because I know what this desk actually looks like because it's right there in front of me. I get grumpy about the quality of the stream image. I'm sure it's fine. Nobody really cares. So yes, bench and belly. For me, bench. Obviously, I'm working on these Space Wolves. I haven't yet. Again, this week the plan was to do lots more work on the Lehman Russ. None of that happened. Very frustrating. Various reasons. So that's still ongoing. So bench at the moment is these space puppies. And if you're not sure what I do on these Warhammer Sunday streams, if you've not seen them before, basically, I don't really do a lot of painting on these streams because painting on a live stream for me is actually quite hard. Mostly because a lot of the time, if I'm painting something, I'm painting it to sell it. And if you're doing a live stream and painting it, you're not going to end up with the best paint job. Really, it's really hard to stream on a live stream and not mess it, because I can't get close to the model and like I would normally do and sit there painting a tiny detail for an hour. So when I do some painting on this stream, it'll be just stuff for my own army more likely, and big things that I can work on while we're streaming. But for the most part, what I like to do is use Warhammer Sunday to actually get the building out of the way, because going forward my video builds aren't going to be I'm not really going to show the building part of the projects in my series from now on. It's more about the painting guides, unless it's a build that requires some explanation, like a resin kit or something with a particularly tricky build, or there's a building technique I want to show or something like that. Like, next time I do a gunpla, I might show how to fix the inner frame into a post, things like that. So for the most part, this is just me assembling things, because assembling models is the easy bit I can do whilst hanging out with you guys in the chat, because I can crack on with this. It gets it done. It's not eating into my filming time, and I can do it without being, I can be distracted by you guys in the chat and stuff whilst we crack on. Because the problem is, you do a video build series, you think, right, I'm going to film this next model now, and then you spend 4 days building it. You're not getting the work done. So if I can get the building out of the way during live streams, then even better. Disappointed in your choice of heads for your wolf and motorcycle dude. Sure, I sent you some with big puppy dog ears that look just like a Binks dude. I do have a load of Jar Jar Binks heads that you sent me. There will be plans for those. I'm pretty sure we'll have plans for them. But they're These are going to be straight up Space Wolves, but I do have plans for those Jar Jar Binks heads. Don't you worry yourself. Don't you worry yourself. I've not forgotten those. You've also sent me, was it you that sent me all the beakies as well to make my Angry Marines? They've also not been forgotten. I have many, many heads now. I've got all the Wolfie heads. I've got all the Jar Jar heads. They will get used. Don't you panic. Right, so get these quickly sanded. Like I say, these are going to be obviously my normal style, weathered and beaten a little bit because they're ancient machines and they're machines of war. The feet, like I say, I didn't really want to have big gouges cut out of them, but they will have some weathering on them because they're the feet and they're in contact with ground and rocks and stuff. So I'm going to sand them, but I'm not going to be too finicky about them. Curved surfaces are really, concave surfaces are always a bit of a pain in the backside. These will be bare metal anyway, I think, so it's not too much of a problem. They'll be rusted and dirtied. Sorry, I forgot there was no selling rule on the boom hut. Apologies for suggesting it, says Lee. Suggesting what? I've forgotten. You mean the concentrifier? No, we'll allow that, the concentrifier. If you suggested something else, I didn't see it in chat, so... Yes. Excuse me. But yeah, for the concentrifier, like I say, because so many in the group have actually said they want to buy it. Because originally Candygram just said, hey, I've made this thing, there you go, let's give it a go. Because I said, why doesn't this thing exist? And he said, I've made it. And then like everybody in the boom said, I want to buy that. So yeah, we'll make an exception for the concentrifier. Because it's not just somebody selling something out of their stash or anything like that. The reason we don't do buying and selling in the boom hut, as people have asked, is that it's a nightmare to maintain. What basically happens is somebody sells something in the boom hut, person buying it doesn't receive it, or it goes missing in the post, or it arrives broken, and then the monkey poop fight erupts in the boom hut, and we have to intervene and kick people out, and we can't be bothered with that. And we're not responsible for anything that happens in terms like that in the boom hut. If two people make an arrangement like that, nothing to do with us, but we have a certain responsibility. So it's easier for us if we just have a blanket thing that says don't buy and sell, because all that happens is at some point somebody gets screwed over and we somehow get ripped into it, and it's nothing to do with us, and we can't be bothered dealing with that. So yes, but we'll make an exception for the concentrifier because, like I said, it was kind of done with the boom hut anyway. So yeah, we'll make an exception. Which one do I want for this one? Plus, we all want to buy one anyway. I want to buy one. Yes. Anybody that makes Games Workshop stuff buying one, I think. You may suddenly find you have an influx of money coming in Candygram, because I want one. I want one that can fit on me Games Workshop drill bit on all the drill bits and just drill me barrels. And the good thing is, of course, if I'm using it, then I'm using it on camera as well. And then if I'm using it on camera, I'm saying where I got it from, and then it's a bit free advert there. So yeah, you might end up having to set up a website or a Facebook page or something at the very least, so I can send people there. Rough there, so we'll scrape that with the scrapey tool. I will have a look at the chat in a moment. If you see me doing this by when I'm picking up my sanding sponge, if you see me going like that, it's because I'm not looking at the number. Often it's upside down. I go by feel, so I know then that order. I'll go, which one do I want? That one. There you go. If you ever see me doing that, it's because I'm just quickly feeling which one it is. I always like to have a quick feel. And I've got the ASBO to prove it. Straining order. That's that. Go over these quickly again with the scrapey tool just to make sure. If you haven't got one of these, you should get one of these Citadel mold line removals. They're a great way to smooth off a surface without leaving lots of scratches. Flatten it. It's not the actual thing it was designed for, but you can repurpose it. done. Let's just make sure these are nice and smooth. I shall have a look at chat in the moment. Yes, I hope everyone is okay. I have been busy and doing stuff this week. It's just I've not had a chance to get to the bench and do anything, which is annoying. Burpee lawns. If you didn't watch, I'll start again. If you didn't watch wherever it was that I mentioned it, probably the stream on Friday with Colin, I do have an update about the D'Agostini X-Wing build that hasn't been updated since October. I have officially abandoned it now. But it's not a Millennium Falcon scenario. I've not given up after episode 6 because I built the cockpit and got terrified and bored. Basically, I haven't heard from them since October. I haven't received any issues and I haven't had contact from them. So I'm assuming that basically I've fallen off the list. Now, I was receiving it free of charge. I wasn't paying for it. And what happened was effectively some guy from a Spanish PR firm that does PR for Diag contacted me and says, would you like to do a collaboration? We'll send you the issues and you can build it and film it. And I'm like, yeah, go for it. That's a grand's worth of model kit. I'm not going to say no. And then nothing happened. And then I got the impression that he probably shouldn't have offered me that. So I contacted D'Agostini directly because I hadn't heard back. And said, is this happening or not? Just not that I'm not fussed if it's not. I just need to know so I can plan in my schedules. And then they started sending them to me. So I think what happened was basically they honoured whatever this guy had said, even though he probably shouldn't have offered it to me. So I'm like, okay, brilliant. I'll go for that. I think possibly what's happened is I've just accidentally fallen off the list because it's been a few months now, and that's not. It's longer than you'd expect for delays from COVID or anything like that. So I think it's just purely a case of it's been a few months and I've just dropped off the list somehow. Probably an admin error or something. But I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. It was getting to the point where I was starting to panic how the hell I was going to store it anywhere because it's so big. But also it was getting a bit impractical to work at on the bench because it's so big. I'd have to clear the bench every time. So it's not the end of the world for me. I'm not that upset about it. It's a shame. And if they do suddenly send me more, it'll be fine. It'll be cool. But I'm not losing sleep over it. So yeah, it's effectively I've put all the bits in the loft now. I've put them away in the loft and just get them into storage out of the way. So they're settled away and stored now because it was taking up a lot of space in the spare room as well. All the stuff being stored. So it's effectively paused. Suspect it won't come back to life. What I may do is, leave it for a while. I think what I'll probably eventually do though is if I do never hear back or I do never get any more, all I'll do is I'll box it all up and I'll probably just sell the issues that I've already got and the bits already built, because then somebody can start their own subscription. I got up to issue 46, I think. I'll sell it as a standalone thing and say, there you go, up to issue 46 with a lot of it built. Then somebody can just start their own subscription from issue 47 onwards, then, can't they? So it's a shame, but hey, it's not the end of the world. I think that's correct. We'll get these glued on. Yeah, I suspect either, I think most likely it was just accidentally I've not had one sent to me again. I've fallen off the list, but I wasn't supposed to be getting it anyway. Let's be honest. It was only, I think they were just kind of honouring this other guy's goof, effectively, so I'm not going to complain. It was becoming a concern as to where the hell I was going to store it and stuff, so I'm happy. So once the world gets back to normal and I can start selling things again and posting packages, I may just put it up for sale. Half built by me. Right, feet time. So we have the feet on this one is just built. Just sits like that. And the feet on this one is like that. Okay, I was kind of hoping for a cool pose out of it, really, but how am I going to do this now? This needs to be, how does this go together? There's the foot, that goes on there like that. Okay. Now, these don't actually clip into place. I'm not even on camera. They don't even clip into place. They just loosely sit. So, really a case of loosely assembling it and then putting glue over it. Get this one done first. So that's going to go like that, regardless. Let's get some fat glue on this one. So I will do a little video just to put on the end of that series, just so people, there's not just hanging there. It'll just be a little voiceover thing saying hi. Yeah, it's finished. It's gone. Wait, that's the wrong side I've just done. Oh well. Hang on. Do we have options here? It's giving me options. I've totally misinterpreted the options. Never mind. I don't know what I'm doing. I've totally got this wrong. I think it's that one on this side. Get the foot glued down anyway. It's just, I think I built the legs the way around. I think you have the option of one leg or the other leg forward. Oops, nearly spilled that glue. We'll just risk it for a biscuit, because I've not really been paying attention. Dive straight in. Right, so that one's going to go on there. This one is that way. Where's this going to go? I'm trying to do this while keeping on camera, which is quite tricky. That's going to go. It needs to be slightly raised up. This makes no sense at all. I see. Right, I get it now. Okay, understood. Understood. Right. I think. This is tricky, isn't it? Slightly tricksy. Let's get some glue on there. Because we'll have some play in it for a little while. Get some glue on there. We'll get that in there. We can pose it in whatever way we want, really. I'm just going to make sure I don't get my head in the shot every 5 seconds. Okay. It can have a bit of an active walking pose. Perhaps, mayhap. I don't know. I'm completely confused now. Not really paid attention, have I, to the instructions? This ain't no Imperial Knigget. There we go. Right, so if I glue that there, roughly, get some glue on there like that. Get some fat glue down. I can lock this toe in place. Toe time. I know where it's going to go. I know where the toe will go. I've kind of made it pigeon-toed. That's not ideal. Let's put it that way. All gone wrong. So let's have this there. I know I'm not on camera. I do apologise. Trying to coordinate 8 different things at once here, and the leg's coming off. Fantastic. This has kind of gone to shit, hasn't it? Let's just not that way. Have the toe sticking out a bit. No idea what's going on here. I don't know why this leg is coming off. A lot more glue in there, I think, is needed. Right. Okay, so it needs to go around this way a bit. Yeah. It's kind of a weird little way to pose these feet, but they don't really make too much sense. I'm sure you're all shouting at me in chat right now. That can go there like that. Oh, this leg's coming off again. What is going on with this leg, man? Dude, you're becoming not my favourite kit ever now. You're rapidly becoming not a favourite kit, especially when you don't fit properly. How is this not actually fitting now? Why must this happen live on the telly and not when I'm just doing stuff for myself? I don't know. Right. This now doesn't want to fit in its own little socket. Most annoying. Right. So this foot glued in. I may have to just like get it all together and then build it up with some landscape. We can do that. A little rock underneath or something. That's not a problem. Leg again. Honestly. Why is it being so awkward? Most annoying. Beyond hope says, sorry folks, things on my mind and can't concentrate on this. Take care and see you all next time. Take care, buddy. Hope you get yourself sorted, whatever it is. Sounds bad, so take care, my friend. Okay, right, so. Oh, I see. You could put the left leg on the right leg. Okay, I didn't read the instructions properly. It was telling you could swap the legs around whichever way you wanted, basically, and that foot's fallen off. What is going on with this? Is this funky glue time, or is this something else? Is my glue being weird? It's a new pot of extra thin, but something's not quite right. Leave that to sit for a minute while I have a look at chat then. Just leave that for a moment. Make sure it's kind of sitting okay. Yeah, that's fine. We'll have to do some finagling, but that's all right. Have a quick look at chat. Sunday's quote of the day. It's all gone wrong. Where are we? So here's something for you all, says Nim. I was coming back from the kitchen after getting a glass of water and the dang calico cat, hyper as heck, and almost hit my leg and just managed to lift it just in time. Running around like a mad person. ICBM, incoming cat ballistic missile. LD's in, welcome LD. I've lost track of where the chat is now. Bench is a Cromlech Orc diorama. Belly is unknown as yet, but have some paprika crispies for after, says Peter Davey. Welcome, Peter. Had a multi-pack of beakies, shoulder pauldrons, and those gas mask bikers in transparent resin for using their super invisible shielding. You don't want to paint them. Yes, I've got all those. Don't you worry, they'll get used. We did not send the dog to the farm as a working dog. Excuse me. Remember, LD had to let his dog go to a new home. We decided to find a good family, and a nice man whose dogs passed last year had him. He has no kids under 12, so no 5-year-olds, not respecting his space. Yeah, it'd be a better home for the dog. Me and the family are really gutted. Worst part for me is at night when everyone's in bed, no pal with his head on my lap eating my crisps. Oh, it's sad, but you'll get another dog, I'm sure. If the kids are young, they'll get used to it. It'll soon be not forgotten, but moved on from. Sad that, but just remember he's gone to a better home for him now. So there you go. We're up to. Kudos to the cat that attacks the leg of the hand that feeds it, says Panzer. Mine was sitting on the edge of the kitchen entry, yelling at me for no reason. Mine sits and looks at me, and then pops his head up and bats you, and then he runs away, says Mayhem. Yeah. Giggles at Foxy. I wonder if he knows what that slang phrase really means. I don't know. What was the slang phrase? What did I say? I don't know. Do. From out of nowhere, cats. People are talking about cats. I'm just going to quickly whiz through chat. Fox did a swear. Did I? I'm not even paying attention to what I'm talking about. People saying goodbye to Beyond Hope. Is the kit excessively oily feeling, model making guru? No, not really. It's a brand new pot of Tamiya Extra Thin, though. Don't know why things weren't sticking. They seem to be sticking now. Right, so we've got to now finagle our poses and features to line up. So what we need to do is get the old brain box working somehow. I'm gonna have to put something here because he's gonna be, unless I can turn this round a bit, even though the glue's still setting, I want to navigate his leg round a bit so he's not like all off the side there, because I'd have to put something here on the base if I had him like that. It'd be fine, but I'd need something here to counterbalance it. So I think if we have him there, that should be fine. Let's get some fatness going on. Glue with fatitude. This needs to go on there. Then this is where it gets tricky now, you see. I've got to kind of hold 6 different things at the same time. If I hold this like this for a few minutes, the foot that I've just glued down will hopefully attach to the leg and hold the leg in place. I'll get some extra thin in this ankle joint. And we shall sit like a loon for the next 5 minutes and do nothing. I'll just tilt him forward a bit because he was leaning a bit backwards. I could put the other toe. I want to take my hands off him when he's wobbly enough or not wobbly enough that he can stand up by himself, and then I can put the other toes on, because the other toes might be mid-air, you see, so we shall see. We'll hold him there for a minute. I shall flip my lenses up. Where are we? Hello there, guys. It's Bobbins. Hey, Bobbins. How you doing, my friend? The kit is not difficult, Fox. You're fudging it up. Well, it wouldn't be that difficult if I wasn't trying to do a live stream at the same time, and so I can only see it from that angle. You have to remember that I'm trying to do a live stream at the same time, which makes things a bit more complicated. It often does seem that I'm a complete inept spoon when I do things like this, and I am. I'm not saying I'm not, but it's not as easy when you're trying to do it on camera. It does make things a lot more tricksy. I want to recommend people try that just to find out. You'll soon realise it's not. But this way, you see, I've got my toe up like that. You see, it came out all right in the end. Once it's got some primer on, you won't see all the horrendous glue that's gone everywhere. This toe, we can just have these toes. I'm going to leave it for a minute just to let it set a bit more before I start sorting. I'm just making sure it's vertical though and horizontal. Yes. Looking pretty good. I shall get some blue tack. Blue tack. What's that secret you're keeping? Copyright strike. Old trick. Sponge some blue tack under there. That way. Can make sure it glues in place and doesn't sponge back down again. Just to stop it leaning backwards. That way I can guarantee it's doing that forward lean thing. That looks pretty good, actually. That's not bad, that. It's not bad at all. A lot of dust and dirt on the feet, so I'm not too fussed if there's a bit of ropey gluing on there, because it's covered in dust and dirt anyway. So yes. Now he's a bit off the centre there. He's in centre, but he's got this empty space. So I may have to put something here to make it interesting, but we'll sort something out. Fox, you got the correct legs on the correct sides. You can swap. I didn't realise this because I didn't read the instructions properly. But it does say that leg can go on that side or that side and do this pose, or that leg can go on that side and do. I didn't read through the instructions properly last time. You can do it with the left leg or the right leg forward. So I've done it the right way. I just didn't realise that there were 2 options. I kind of hadn't read through them properly because I'm going to do it because I'm a tit. There you go. I've said a rude word. We've done them, done that. Done that. Haven't glued the leg armour on, obs. But we'll leave this for a minute, just until I glue the other toes on. Where are we up to? Chat. Fox, I can't see Tamiya making this mistake, but Humbrellas have this terrible habit of putting the thinners in poly bottles. No, it's glue, trust me. It's working. I just don't know why that wasn't being very grippy. I think I thought I put on more fat cement than I did. So, yeah. Also, it's a brand new bottle of glue, so it's actually full to the brim, and I'm going litres of glue every time, which probably doesn't help either. Because I'm so used to having to wiggle the bottle around and get the molecule of glue on it, on the brush, that I'm just pulling the brush out now, and it's like 4 litres. I'm like, wow. Frankie Goes to Hobbywood is in. Good afternoon, Fox and everyone. Welcome, Frankie. Hello, my friend. Swig of water. Water, not coffee. Risk it for the biscuit. Dude, it's not about food. Oh, well, risk it for a biscuit. I know exactly what you're talking about. But no, not that. Risk it for a biscuit. We've always said that. I've always said that for years. I'm going to risk it for a biscuit. I don't know why. Just reinforce this foot area. Using the old caterpillar action. Big dot of glue there. See, I'm getting far too much glue on the brush now because I'm used to having to scrimp and get every bit of glue off. What I did with my other pot of glue, because it had a little bit of glue left, I dumped it in my sprue glue. But I need to put some more sprue in there now because I've thinned it a little bit. It's looking a bit too... I dumped all the remaining glue from the old pot in there. And it's a little bit too thin now. So if I'm lucky, I might have some... I've got all the little bits of sprue I had. If I get any more sprue left over today, I'll dump it in there. Right, so that should be stable enough for me to glue on the other toes. See if we can get these on. These did fit quite snugly, so... let's do the inside one first. It'll be tricky to get in here, but we'll see how it goes. It'll be really tricky to get in here. Look at the tricularity. Doing this on camera is not easy. Please don't believe... I mean, I do have a certain degree of ineptitude. Painter, not a builder, you know it. But it's worse when you're on camera because I've got to try and do it here. You guys can see it, and that's not exactly ideal for me all the time. Not really where I want it to be. Also, there's a great big nub on there that I haven't sanded off properly. Hang on. God damn it, Oxford. Cannot get the staff. The staff you can't get, they're the ones you can't get. Yeah, so no work on the Lehman Rust this week. I have been giving more thought to what I want to do when I finish that Lehman Rust. And the other day I did say that I thought I might have decided to do my Mortarian painting guide for that, but I'm still not 100% on it. I'm like, I really don't know what I want to build next. Not fully, you know, for the next build series, I've not fully decided. I fancy doing the Mortarian. I just need to reprime it. Because, you know, God knows it's been on primed and waiting for 2 years. A bit more pushing on that. Yeah. Hard to do this because there's no leverage on it. I need to get some blue tack underneath that as well, I think. I want to give it a sort of dynamic pose so it's not just got flat toes, if you know what I mean. I'm gonna see if I can jam some blue tack under there. And then get the eyelash off it. Eyelashing me blue tack. You. Get out. Eyelash. Oh, crap on me tweezers. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Right, go on. Right. There's no easy way to do this without it just falling off straight away like that. Right, come here. You go under there. Then I'm going to kind of schmunge you underneath. And I need you to push it up. Or just make it fall off. This is really quite tricky. Not easy at all. Most trickularity. Get the blue tack underneath to start with. That might be better. Right. Can't do it with tweezers because I won't have the grip that I need. Let's get that back on there. That was the better bet, starting with the blue tack. If I have the toe just floating in midair, it kind of looks better. It kind of falls off. It kind of looks better. It's more realistic than just having the toe flopping down or anything like that. Having the toe just floating in midair makes it look more convincing and like an actual moving. I was about to say prehensile, but that's not quite the word I was looking for. More like it's actually in the middle of moving its toes around. You know what I mean? You don't just want both toes at the same height, straight out, sticking straight out, because that doesn't suggest movement. When you're walking around, you've got all your toes are in like different positions. They're not all the same. That's there. We'll leave that for a bit. Let the glue do its job. I would have had this finished by now if I wasn't streaming it at the same time. Eon's car is in. Welcome, Eon's car. Hello, my friend. This one should be a bit more easier, Riri. Why is my blue tack full of eyelashes? Good God. Have I like dropped this on the carpet or something? Ugh. Do I just shed eyelashes like a cat sheds hair? Honestly. Honestly. Right, let's see if we can... I don't want to jam it too far into the blue tack because then when I take the blue tack off, of course, it risks slapping the plastic piece off. So I want to get just a rough idea where I want it to go. I hope you can see all this. I do apologise if it's all off camera and stuff. Kind of want one sticking up, really. But I suppose I do want some symmetry with them there. That's going to be 2 pushed into the blue tack there. So let's push that down a bit. I'm probably over-engineering this and overthinking it vastly. That should look pretty good, I think. We'll get that glued in. Again, any sins of gluing can be covered up with dirt and dust anyway. That's the beauty of it. So we'll get that glued in. We shall now leave that the hell alone for like 10 minutes. Yeah. The kit, where we're up to. So Frankie's in. Welcome, Frankie. Paul Di Tommaso. Hello, Paul Di Tommaso. Welcome, welcome. Burpage. And the explanation isn't for family TV. Yes, I know all about what you mean by the biscuit. Let's just leave it there. Not family friendly. Yes. But yes, risk it for a biscuit. I don't know where that comes from. Here in Britain, it doesn't mean what you'd think it means. Back when the dreadnoughts were metal, I remember having to do all sorts of pinning with paper clips. They were very prone to falling apart. I have one. With like 1.5 inches of dust on it. I think it was Fluffy Guts that sent me this, or somebody sent me this. It's an old original classic metal dreadnought. I'm going to paint it up, but I glued the arms back on because they were off. I'm going to paint it up, but I need to get a replacement for the hand or for something on there because that wasn't with it. Somehow it's managed to survive with the actual standard bearing because this is flexible metal. Somehow it's still got this. It's like white metal, so you can bend it. It's still got the flagpole on it. I don't know how it's survived all these years and not lost the flagpole, but somehow it has. And I glued the torso. I can't remember. Was it? I think it might have been Fluffy Guts. It might not have been somebody else. I can't remember now. It's been a while. But yes, need to get the claw for that so I can paint it. It's on my desk as a little trophy. I just had a very tiny part of a Bandai Snowspeeder go off the sprue, and somehow against all odds I saw where it went. I'm going to call this a minor miracle. It's a miracle on 34th Street. Yes, it does happen that way sometimes. Or what's even more amazing, when I'm moving, so I'm just adjusting my cutting mat. What's even more amazing is where you get a piece that pings off and you don't see it, but you hear it land. And for some reason, the sound it makes when it lands tells you exactly where it is. I did it once. I was like, ping. And I thought, that landed on my wet palette because it sounded like my wet palette. And it was. And I'm like, how did I know that? I don't know what my wet palette sounds like when a plastic component lands on it. I just guessed. Ian's Car says, remember to like the stream. Thank you very much. Remember to give the stream a thumbs up. That means it lists higher in the search results on YouTube. So if people are looking for this stream, they have a better chance of finding it. And that helps me earn some income. Very much. But just keep using it your way. It makes me laugh, says Muse. Excuse me. I'm no fan of metal models for that reason. All the pins, just too much work. Yes. I was watching something the other day where somebody was making little resin. It was Leaky Cheese video where he was making some Space Marines, but they were like resin, forgeable ones, and he's pinning all the arms and legs, and I'm thinking, I didn't do that with my Death Corps. I just glued them together. Crap. Oh well. Never mind. I wouldn't like to try and glue a Death Corps dude. I mean, and pin him, because look how big the torsos are. They're not huge. That'd be fun. Not. What? So you're a bird then? Says Model Making Guru. You call yourself a? Yes. I'm a small feathered creature. Always say a. Yes. The second you said the, it changes the meaning. Says Muse. Muse is still going on about the risk it for a biscuit thing. Yes. Right. Anyway. Build that resin tank, says Mayhem. Yes, I've got my Macarius Vanquisher and my Malcador Infernus to build. I might do them. But then that means I've got to paint my Deathcore. And I've got so many Deathcore to paint. That'll be like 80 billion weeks of work. Eyelashes in the blue tack. Have you been using it as a face mask again, Fox? Yes, that's what it is. Now we know how Fox removes his makeup. Never mind how you overprice wet wipes with aloe vera. He just grabs a dot of blue tack. Well, it's pan stick for when you're on the telly. See, it's proper thick makeup. You have to use some aggressive stuff to get it off. Raging Modeler says, and for some reason, YouTube decided to censor that. I'm sorry about that. Right, so that's going to sit there and do nothing for the next while. I'm not even going to think about touching that. You can just stay there and shut up. Stay there and shut up and don't do anything. What's next? Leo, what's next? Right, so we haven't attached the armour pieces. I'm going to leave the armour pieces off, I think, so I can paint those bits. Although I'm going to end up with little bags of bits everywhere. I might just glue all the stuff on because I can't be bothered having lots of bits lying around. We have the end caps for the legs. And we have some greeblage to put on. We can do that. We can do greeblage, no problem. Let us prepare the greebles for greeblage. Greebles, free for a pound, greebles. And I'm going to guess now that Colin just leant over to his microphone about to say 3 for a pound and realised he's not on the stream. E50 and E57. Circles now. These have got little tiny connection points, so I'm going to use my expensive God hands to get them off because it's a bit neater and nicer. That's 57, which is that side. And E50 is that one there. I'm going to guess they're identical, but you never know, so I'll keep them separate. I'm not reorganised. I'm a bit all over the place today, so I do apologise. Right, so what was that then? I don't know what that was. I'm like a child trying to make a really crap argument. Yeah, but you're rubbish. Well, no, you're rubbish. Well, no. Yeah, that child arguments. Right, so that's all the sanding done on those pieces. Oh, there's lots of work involved there. Now these are, I don't need to worry about keeping them to one side. They're both exactly the same. They're both just circular plates, and they're both just end caps for this joint here, basically. All I need to do is just stick it in there and glue it. Not really give it too much thought. That's literally all I need to do. What I need to do is make sure I behave with the glue. Two things I need to do are, firstly, not get 1.5 litres of glue on the brush. I really want very little here. Touch it to the gap. Hopefully. Should be enough. And then I want to very carefully just push it into place because it's kind of going like that in the hole. I need it to be level. What I need to not do is get a great big thumbprint in where I've just glued. That should be about right, I think. It's just like an end cap, but it can move slightly if you don't line it up right. So very gentle touch of glue, and we're on. There we go. Same with the one. Yeah, it can kind of rock around a little bit in the bowl that it goes into. I need to make sure I've got it lined up as much as possible because it can, and I need to drop it, of course. Dropping is always the best bet. Also, don't do it on camera, that'd be good. I'm an idiot. Sometimes I wonder why you watch my streams. I'm so inept. Like I say, in my defense, it's because I'm streaming. Take most of the glue off the brush, just enough to run into that gap. Snick down into the gap. Yeah. I do tend to put too much glue on because I'm paranoid, but you don't need to. So that's those two pieces. Excellent. Raging Modeler says, boo. Yeah, I'll risk it for a biscuit. Comes from the advert for Swiss Kit bars in the 1970s. What was a Swiss Kit bar? I kind of vaguely remember them. I'll risk it for a biscuit. About time you showed up, Rage. I wondered about that. My youngest is standing here laughing his backside off, says Muse. Boo, boo, says Mayhem. Whiskey Biscuit. How many for a pound, Fox? 3 for a pound. 3 for a pound. How was that accent? Am I doing a good accent? Not 2 for a pound, not 4 for a pound, 3 for a pound. There you go, darling. 3 for a pound. If you can't be a good example, be a hideous warning. That's what I try to... I stick to what I know, and being a hideous warning is the best. Free call with a T, says Dad. Right, so we've done the little blep bits. We need E51 and E58. All on the same sprue. Everything on the same sprue. There you go. Nice and shiny. 3 for a pound. What parts now? 51 and 58. Let's do 51 first. I'm a warning to all mankind. Don't be like Fox. You really don't want to. Like, I've just cut that off and I've already forgotten what part number it was. 51. Gee whiz. I really am just... I shouldn't be allowed out or left in, really, should I? I shouldn't be left alone or with others. I just shouldn't be. It's probably something that should be done about me. I don't know. 51 and 58. This is part number 51. I'm singing this so I don't forget again. Because I will. Because I'm an idiot. Right, so rather than try and get that off with a knife, I'm just going to quickly file it off because it'll keep it nice and flat. If I do it with a knife, I risk just gouging it and then making it a bit of a gougy surface. At least if I do it with a file, I've got a chance of keeping it reasonably flat and level. It's hard to get the thing around there. And we'll very gently just sand it back. Very gently. I don't want to curve it or put a ding into it or anything like that. I learned something, talking of which, by the way, I learned something the other day I didn't realise. I was having thoughts about my Death Guard army that I got from Conquest that I'm going to have to paint at some point. And I suddenly realised, because I was thinking about how I would paint them, because I was thinking about doing Mortari, and I was thinking about how I would paint my Death Guard. And I suddenly had this realisation that technically, other than on the weapons, shouldn't be putting any rust on their armour. Because I was going to, like, you're going to do, like, corrosion and stains and dirt and all kinds of goodness on there. Because they're Death Guard, the old Mark III armour, and it's all knackered and horrible. And I suddenly realised, technically, if I stick to the law, smooth off that rubbish in there, I shouldn't be putting rust on the Death Guard armour. Because it's not metal, it's ceramite, and ceramite doesn't corrode. It's not a metal, it's a ceramic. Space Marine armor is not made of metal, it's made of a ceramic called ceramite. And I'm like, I can't do, technically I can't, I mean I can do, there's nothing stopping me, but technically I shouldn't be doing rust on Death Guard. But I'm going to, because I was thinking about how I'm going to paint Mortarion. There's so many potential streaks and dirt and rust, and it's like, no, you shouldn't. It should be like, the bronze parts can have verdigris on them, and the weapons and stuff can have rust, but technically, the armour should just be chipping and dirt. And it's like... and then I saw one of Duncan's videos where he painted a Death Guard and did lots of rust on it. I'm like, okay, I can do rust now. Where's my file? I've literally... There it is. Literally had a moment ago. So I'm like, you know what? Yeah. I think we'll have rust on Mortarion. Even though it's not technically accurate. A bit like putting rust on your Pontiac Firebird or your Stingray, whatever it was. But it just looks good. So I will be putting rust on Mortarion and on my Death Guard. But then I got to wondering, are the vehicles made of ceramite as well, or are they made of something else? Like this Invictus and like the tanks and stuff. Are they ceramite? In which case they wouldn't rust either. Weird, isn't it? Also, the Death Guard armor is infused to their skin so it animates and moves. Ooh, I didn't realise that. keep forgetting because, like I say, we did the Warhammer Conquest part work, which was very, very kindly co-funded by George Gabriel, who's in the chat. Please say hello to George. And because of that, he's getting all the Space Marines, and I'm keeping the Death Guard. We're splitting it. So, and I keep forgetting. Technically, I've got the beginnings of a Death Guard army now. It's like, oh, I keep forgetting that. I'm building up the Imperial Guard army with its selection of Space Wolves and Death Corps. Because my army, the army I'm building, is going to be basically Imperial Guard with a regiment of Space Wolves, for some reason, and a regiment of, or a collection of Death Corps, again, for some unspecified reason. They're all fighting with each other together. Mayhem says, step right up, get your Greyballs free for a pound. I can't do it too loud, though, because it'll blow the microphone, so I've got to be kind of quiet. Colin, he's doing terrible impressions of you, Festa67's workshop, says Panzer. I'm doing my usual impressions of Colin, which are terrible. I feel that in honour of the Baneblade build, we should replace Greeblification with Festified or Festification. Yeah, I think I'll start doing that from now. I'm going to fester it. Oh, Matron, that tasted of nothing. That was weird. That had no flavour, because I've not eaten anything today. That literally had no flavour. I've had 1 cup of coffee and some water. That was like a void burp. Imperial vehicles are made of plasteel. There you go. So steel that doesn't corrode and plastic that doesn't corrode. So I'll cover mine in rust. There you go. I've decided. Derp. Too many vehicles, says Mayhem. Right. I thought I had the word plasteel in my mind for some reason, but I couldn't remember if that was Star Wars or Warhammer. Mold line. Yay! Have to get rid of that in a bit when everything's dried. God damn. There's always one. Right. I want E55 and E63. E55 and E63. I will stop doing a silly Festa voice, but only if Festa gets offended and tells me to stop doing it. Otherwise, it's hilarious. People have actually asked me why I do silly voices all the time. And I totally blame it on my dad, because my dad did that all the time. He'd do loads of silly voices. Like my pretend German, my pigeon German, you know, is what my dad used to do all the time. I got it from him and all the silly voices. So I can only blame my father. Force a habit. You know, you have a conversation with my dad and you wouldn't just... He would say things in silly voices, not to actually say the words, but just to, as like a flourish or a exclamation. It wouldn't really matter what the words were. It's a bit like, you know, when he'd do something and he'd finish doing it, like I'd glue something together here, and he'd finish doing it, and he'd do a Fred Dibner, like, do you like that? He'd do a Fred Dibner on the end of it, and it's just little kind of flourishes that were they're more like punctuation than words. And I kind of got it from him, so think of it as punctuation. Gently clean and sand. Now these are supposed to be like little steel or shiny metal like grab bars and like bull bars on the front. So I need to make sure they're nice and clean and free of any mold lines, because they're supposed to be shining and like not clean, but you know what I mean, shiny and not roughed up. So I want them to look reasonably smooth, round and earthy. And I like details like this, little sort of bars and rails and grab handles with an H. I like a nice grab handle. Oh, you can tell it's spring. Somebody outside doing their lawn. That time of year now, whenever I do a stream in the weekend, on Saturday or Sunday, there's some spoon outside doing his lawn. We've got a neighbour that mows the lawn every single weekend, and it's like, dude, seriously, the grass is not going to have grown that much in a week that you need to... It's like having a haircut every week. You wouldn't do that, would you? It's like, could you be more middle class? Right, what part number was this? This was part 55, which goes on this side. It goes on like there. Oh, tenuous grip. Oh, tenuous gluage. That's going to be... Oh, this is going to be a right pain in the bum. You thought I had trouble with the feet. Yeah. You're going to have tricksy with these, aren't we? Oh, yeah. They've got a little notch cut out on the rod, and they just sit on top of the lip. It's like, thanks for making that really hard to get in there. Because doing that without, like, super glue is... Ooh, it's going to be fun. Be tempted to use super glue, except I'm not. I can't see the other side. I can only see one side at once. I can't see both sides anyway. I've got to somehow magically stick it to both sides without being able to see both sides. Not sure about this. I'm going to use my big fat glue, but I've got to somehow not slather the whole thing in glue. So we'll just very quickly touch there. There. And see how quickly this can go horribly wrong. Next on Sky 1. And gluing stuff goes bad. Can't get my hand around. Right, have I done it? Nope. Yep. Wow. That was... I'm going to leave that for a minute. If I put some extra thin on that now, it's going to fall off because it'll liquefy the fat glue and make it fall off. So I'm going to leave that for a second just to set a little bit. We can't hear any lawnmower. Dad has the kind of mic you should really... What? Fox has the kind of microphone you should really have. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I've got my window closed. That's why you can't hear it. I'm going to leave that for a minute. Just, in fact, like I say, if I put extra thin on that now, it'll just fall off. So we shall leave it for a moment. And I'll put some extra thin on it in a minute. Let's do the other one. 63. I'm not saying Dad's trump on calling stream was loud, but even my microphone that wasn't even plugged in picked it up. The best bit was, like, if you didn't watch it, it was just like Colin and Dave were talking because Dad doesn't appear on camera. He's off camera. He looks after the chat and is talking away, and you hear, and then Dad just says, "I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to go for a minute." I think he was just so corpse in so much he had to go. It was so funny. So funny. That's a bit of a big nub on here, so I'm going to carefully use the knife blade just to scrape the excess off. Yeah. Lovely. Just sanding away that nub. Making sure it's nice and smooth. Yeah. Feilen und Sanden gefahren. Mit the Sticken und the Spungen, ja. Das. Yeah. And for some reason, I don't know why, maybe I'm just mad, but for some reason, when I'm doing things like this, where I'm taking little nubs off tubes and pipes, like on the Millennium Falcon, where you got all the little bits of pipe work and you're very carefully filing and sanding away all the nubs and stuff, for some reason, I really enjoy this bit. I don't know why, because it's... I mean, this is thick plastic, it's not going to snap, but on the Millennium Falcon, for example, all the little pipes, it's so easy that you could just snap any of them, and somehow I didn't. But you have to be so gentle with them to not snap them. And I think what happens is you get into this zen-like state where you're being so gentle and careful that you kind of go into Bob Ross mode, all quiet spoken and thoughtful, and you're conscious of what you're doing, and you're going to have to, otherwise you're going to snap the component. And then it kind of chills you out. So I always find tubes and pipes like this really relaxing. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just an idiot. I mean, there's no maybe. I am just an idiot. But maybe it's Maybelline. Right, so this is going to be the same scenario. I've got to somehow get it onto that little bit there. I hope this is on camera. or to somehow maneuver. It's easy when I'm doing it like that. When I put glue on it, it'll be suddenly really, really hard. I've got to make sure there's almost no glue on there. I don't want the glue to splob out. I don't want to make a mess, but I've got this big fat ass brush, fortunately. So, if we can get this done. You know, I'm trying to do it properly. I can't get my hand in there. Oops. But this is why the thick glue is handy. Because of its viscosity, it misses that bit there completely. I'm not even in the right place. Hang on. Fudge, fudge, fudge. And I blow my trousers. There we go. Try again. Dick Whittington. Get that there. That one. I could do it with tweezers, but you don't get as good a grip with tweezers. Ironically. Right, that's on there. Yeah, the fat glue, the regular Tamiya cement, it just, because it's very viscous, it gives you instant grip to a certain degree. So that little piece can sit there and support its own weight. If I did that with extra thin straight off, it just wouldn't even, I'd be sat there for 10 minutes straining not to move my hands or fingers. I can go in with the extra thin now just to melt the plastic even more. That one's had a minute. Get the brush in there. Yeah. Just because the thick cement is good. It's still a welding cement. It's just not quite as powerful as the thin when it comes to welding. So it's always good to use the thick cement just to get the grip and viscosity that you want. And then finish it off with some thin just to complete the weld. There we go. Bizarrely, even though it was fiddly to get my hands in there, and there's an eyelash on that bit of blue tack, when you put it in place, because the thick cement, it just stays there, so that's kind of cool. So there you go, that's that. A lot less stressful than I thought, that bit. Normally when you get two things together that just have like a mortise joint, where it's like one bit like that and they just sit and lock, you're fiddling around to get them all to stay in place. So that's where that thick cement does come in handy. What we're doing in chat. I bought an electric mower with a battery and it's just about my favourite thing ever. It's almost silent and even has a headlight. I'm tempted to do some midnight mowing just to say that I did. Cool. Well, I'm off to pick up the brats, drop them off and go to my friend's place to acquire some cool STL files of some cool miniatures he acquired. Cool, you know he can send them by email though. You could stay at home in your underwear and have him email them to you. But say hello to the kids, even though they don't know who we are. And take care, Paul. Thanks for coming in. Here in the UK, we have adverts for robotic lawnmowers with headlights. Not sure why a robot would need lights. Yeah. Weird. That was Gefarten. Bye all, says Paul. He was. Darren Edmonds is in. Welcome, Darren. Hello, hello, hello. You've missed me farting about and being almost swearing, trying to get these legs together and being completely incompetent because I've not been paying attention to the instructions. Don't be like Fox. Actually read the goddamn instructions. After this, Fox will never build this kit again. I will, because this isn't the kind of kit that I'm hating building, that I'm having a bad experience building, because the problems I've had have been me not reading instructions properly. Now I know how to do it, it's not a problem. It's a little bit fiddly, but it's not a problem. Original Space Marine bikes, they can burn in hell. I'm not happy that I've got to build 3 of them for George's Space Marines for his Warhammer Conquest, but I have to build them anyway. For George, I will make that sacrifice. Yeah. Destiny Gundam, Master Grade, never building that again. Forget it. That's not ever going to happen. Piece of junk that kit is. Excellent observation, Panzerkönig. What did he say? Oh, yes. Someone suggested so you could find it in the dark. Then why do I have ears, says Panzer. Yes. The thing is, right, it's the 21st century. Why do lawnmowers still sound like some kind of industrial heavy machinery? They don't need to be these big... All they're doing is cutting grass. There must be a more quieter and efficient way of cutting the grass than having some 19th century nonsense going on. Well, that's that one done. Next we have the lungs. We have E62, 54 and 61. Let's see what 54 and 61 are. They go on... where do they go? Where do they go? Oh, they're the knee pads. Knee pads. Well, they can. I think they can go on because I should be able to get around the back of them to paint them behind. The difficulty is when you put an armor on, like legs or this on an Imperial Knight. You put the thing on, but if you can see the back of the armor plate, how do you paint it? Now, there's little bits at the back here I can get to, but like these pieces here, you can't see the back of it, so it's not a problem. But some armor plates, if you can see around the back, how are you going to get that to paint? You've got to think about these things. So, 54. Let's do 54 first. 54. There's 54. I'm just going to off the sprue. Apologies, I'm off camera. Okay. 54. I'll get the other one off as well. It is 62. Might as well get that piece off while I'm here. I'm not going to get that confused with the other one. Here's 62. I'm really hungry. What did Mama Fox say she wanted for dinner tonight? Mama Fox decided she wants pasta and hot dog sausages. I'll have to have some sort of sauce as well. But Mum doesn't like pasta. She doesn't like. She eats like a mouthful and then says it's gone cold and feels weird. But she wants pasta, so she can have pasta. Mama Fox gets what Mama Fox wants, and I love pasta. So tonight it will be pasta of some sort, possibly tubes, might be squiggles, could be shells, don't know. Conchigli, ben, don't know yet. So it'll be pasta of some sort with hot dog sausages, possibly this big tin of hot dog sausages, the big fat ones, chopped up into bits, and some sort of sauce. I think we shall see some sort of fluid system to stodge it out. Unfortunately, we've got no spuds, or we've got a handful of carrots left, but no spuds left, you know, because I like to make Fox's mess and pad things out with bits. We've got nothing to add to it. It might just be literally pasta, sauce, and hot sausage. There. Let us quickly just clean this up. God, that lawnmower is... I know you guys can't hear it, but it's really loud. Like a hovercraft. I really don't get the neighbour that does it like once. It's like, why are you doing it every week? Really? Seriously? Having said that, we have a little guy that comes to do the... Because Mama Fox is a million years old and I'm useless. We have a little chap that comes and just like cuts the grass and stuff and tidies the garden up every couple of weeks. He doesn't come during the depths of winter. But we haven't seen him for like yet at all yet this year. I'm saying to Mama Fox, I'm like, at some point, if it's going to get to the point he doesn't turn up, we're going to have to buy a lawnmower and I'm going to have to cut the grass. And this is vastly unacceptable. Because I don't want to be that middle class. Next, I'll be stood in the driveway waxing my car, which is not something I do on a matte clear-coated rat rod, but we're going to have to actually invest in a lawnmower and, you know, cut the damn grass. Eesh. We haven't got a leaf blower. I'm not going to invest in a leaf blower to blow all the leaves away. Most unusual. But I don't think we've got any way to contact him to say, are you ever come back? So I don't think Mama Fox has his number stored anywhere. Yeah. I wouldn't say we have a gardener. Because he literally just quickly gives the grass a quick cut, strims around the edges and then buggers off. Comes back a couple of weeks later. He's more fettling and tidying than gardening. Again, we want to keep these little handrails and gravity rails looking nice and smooth. Round and earthy. So that's there. This bit of armor plate. Now this is going to go on... Which one was this one now? This was... I can't remember the number. 50 something. It was one of them. It was 51, I think. Where's the other one? Yeah, it was 51. So 51 goes... 54 goes here. Goes on to these little bits. So you've got two little slots in there. Two little raised bits here. What I need to know is... Can I glue this on now? Yeah, I think I can. Yeah, you can. So you can sort of see around the back of it a little bit, but not massively. And there will be shades on there that'll cover it up anyway. I think I should be fairly safe gluing that on. Because the other thing, of course, is if I do paint it first and then glue it on, am I going to be able to glue it on without making a mess of the paint job? And looking at the way I've just had to struggle there, I think the answer will be no. So let's get it glued on. Let's glue it on. Touch of glue on there. Again, we're using the fat glue just for instant stickage, instant grippity, and viscosity. Look at the viscosity. Spond that on there. Spond. Done. Yeah, I can get the brush under there. I can get round the back of it. That's no problem. And ultimately, nobody's really going to see there anyway. Just try and run some glue down the side. Not the snuggest of fits. It feels a little bit... But it don't matter. It's fine. It'll be fine. Everything's fine. We're all fine here now. How are you? Conversation was boring anyway. Right, let's get it off. There's the other one, which is 61. Now, I know somebody said something in chat that I need to look at, so give me a second. If you haven't made it before, look up baked feta pasta. Ooh. I like feta cheese, I like baked, and I like pasta. Timothy Kalakos, he says he didn't mean to sleep in so long. Welcome, Timothy. I guess you're a bit overslept. Nothing wrong with that. It's the weekend. You can do what you want. The school night tonight, but it's not a school night today. It wasn't a school day, so you're allowed to have a lie-in. Unless, of course, you actually work at the weekend, in which case every night's a school night. Up this bit of armour. Oh, here's a bit of consumer advice for you. But eventually, when you're able to travel again, if you're in the UK, if you should ever go to Warhammer World, I do not recommend purchasing the travel mugs they have there. They have like some Bugman's travel mugs and some other ones. They're like big. They're really nice, but I got myself a Bugman's travel mug when I went there, and there's two problems with them. One, there's an enormous lip around the top of the lid, so you get this massive lip and then the little hole where the liquid comes out. They're almost impossible to drink from unless you kind of do like a goldfish and go zop over the whole lid. So they're kind of the lip around the top of the edge of the lid is too wide. But also, I've not used mine very often, but it kind of smells like bleach. When you wash it and clean it, you put it and you dry it off, it has this kind of metallic bleachy smell. That's not good, and it makes things taste a bit funny. So maybe it's just a weird one-off, that one, but yeah, they're not cheap. I wouldn't recommend it. I just put mine up on the shelf now. I don't use it. I'll use it for something else. Because it's like you smell it and it's like, it smells like metallic bleach. It's horrible. So, yeah. Don't get the Bugman's. Don't get the Warhammer World travel mugs. They're really nice, apart from you can't drink from them because they smell funny. And you can't drink from them with the lid on, which kind of negates the whole point of them, really. They're fine if you drink it without the lid. Like I would use it for drinking my water here because they are quite big. But after a while of being like, why does this water taste funny? After about a month, 2 or 3 months, it's like, why is this thing now weirdly smelling? At first they were fine, but just after a little while, it's like, everything smells weird now. So, yes. There's much better things in the Warhammer World place that you can spend your money on, like the Fort World store, for example. Yeah. I would imagine mowing the lawn at 2:30 in the morning might just ever so slightly piss the neighbours off. Unless you hate them, in which case do it. If you have a tiny yard, it takes a few minutes, Fox. You take more time to get the machine ready than to actually cut it. Our yard's like 80 or 90 feet long, and there's bushes and trees and all kinds of wildlife. It's great. Quite a big garden for where we are. Hans of Coding says, I'm lucky I live in a house with a garden shed, but no garden. Cool. Good morning, everyone, says Timothy. You're so late, it's actually afternoon. Look, it's 20 to 5. Oh, yeah, it's 25. What are we up to? Sunday is the day of oversleeping. I overslept today. I did the same in Miss Collins' show, says Muse. Well, that was bad. Alarm went beep. I smacked it and said no. Yeah, that sounds about right. I set my alarm for 9 o'clock and got up at 11:30. Yeah, it didn't work out well. To be fair, I was up till 3 in the morning doing stuff. So I was filming an interview yesterday. I shall say no more about it. You will find out about it. I was doing an interview. And it was very good fun. Where's this supposed to glue on now? There and there. Okay. There and there. Boo. Boo. That don't seem right. It makes no sense at all. Oh, yes, it does. There we go. Okay, little grabby handrail. Let's move this nonsense out of the way. I do like gluing on little grabby handrails and things. They just seem to fit so nicely. This we can do very quickly because this glue will flash off. Tiniest touch of extra thin. I know I could use the fat glue here, but the risk of making a mess with the fat glue is too great. That's not going to stick, is it, if I do that? I may have to bite the bullet and use the fat glue. Yes, I'm going to have to, aren't I? Right, let's get the fat glue. Extra fat for fatness. Very careful, tiny amount. Plenty of it. Flood the cowling. See, that's what the thin glue, it doesn't do that. The fat glue, just because it's viscous, it just holds it in place. But it doesn't stick quite as strongly, so I will go in with the extra thin. You kind of have to judge it, because if I do the extra thin on that top bit now, it might risk destabilizing it. Right. That's not so bad. It's all right. There she. Not so injured as we were led to believe. It's not a big yard, Foxy. Well, no, I mean, compared to someone with a much bigger garden, yes. For a 3-bed semi-suburban house in Britain, in England, it's quite a big size. Ray Aquilin is in. Hello, my friends. Hello, Ray. Welcome, welcome. I set mine for the show time and then slept until nearly time for this one. Well, I'm happy with that outcome. Maybe Colin's not. 3 a.m. this morning, I was editing my lunch, says Panzer. Fox filming an interview, colour me intrigued. Oh. No, I wasn't filming the interview, I was being interviewed. Wait, what's this interview nonsense? Not a job interview. I like a, what's your favourite colour type interview, that kind of thing. You'll find out. I'm saying nothing more. Right, that's that handing rail. I like that pose. It's kind of, you want it, come and get it. That was a terrible accent. I apologise to Colin for that one. It was terrible. Come get some. Why has he only got a handrail on one side? He's got the handrail there, but not there. That seems a bit rubber. I want symmetry in my handrail. I want more handrails. All the handrails. Right. I think the next step is the Cockpittengefahrten. Das Cockpittengefahrten with the Duden und the Pilot. Ja, das ist richtig. And after that, we have the gun and shooting big and bang and boomins. And then we go home. Hey. Right, so we'll start on the Cockpittengefahrten. Which is quite a few steps. I need to quickly wipe my nose because I've got the snifflage. Wow. There we go. Lights go on, nose goes full. Yes. Underdog Painting's in. Hey, Underdog. Welcome, my friend. Dad's saying hello to Ray. Ray saying hello to Dad. I'm drinking some water because it's not coffee, I know. I feel cleansed because there's no caffeine, but I also feel like I need to go and break something because I've not had caffeine. Right, so now for the cockpit, we need E2, 3, 4, and 5. I like the way that I have to give E-models now. I have to give some GW some props here. They do seem to have started doing things You're gonna. I mean, make sure you're sitting down when I say this. But they've started, it seems, doing things in order. No, it doesn't make any sense at all. Games Workshop in order. Oh, I know what I can do while I'm here. First of all, put the lid back on the glue. You spoon. Let's just have a look and see if I put this armor plating on here now. How difficult does it make my life? I can get around the back there. The problem with this armor plating is you can kind of, not that anybody ever will, but you can kind of see around the back of it there. Now, if I glue it on later, I'm going to have to scrape the glue off in there and probably make a mess of the paint anyway. But I don't know what I'm going to... I'll probably prime this in lead belcher so it will look metallic. Am I overthinking it? Should I just glue it on anyway because I'm just being a chud? I should probably just glue it on anyway, shouldn't I? And it probably doesn't actually matter if the inside is a different colour to the outside. Just glue it on. Just glue it on anyway. I'm giving myself challenges where there aren't any. Just being special. Let's get the glue on there and the glue on there. Fat glue for the grip. Make sure it's the right way up. Yes, that is correct. And then we get our hand underneath the crotch area and slip it in from underneath. Ooh, matron, heavens. It all went a bit wrong there, didn't it? Let's just glue it on and not worry about it. I think it must be an age thing, you know, because as I've got older, I've got less daring and less creative. Point now where I am doing things like putting a big dot of glue on there that I shouldn't have done. Oops. I fixed it. I'm doing things like thinking, can I do this or should I do it some other way? And can I paint this and can I paint that? And then not being sure. Weird. I've kind of lost. It's like when you're a kid, you'd ride around on your bike with no hands on your handlebars. You do what we used to call, what do we call them? What do we call it now? I don't know what we used to call it now. Basically, you wouldn't hold on to your handlebars. You just ride around with your hands down your side or in your pockets. And we just wouldn't care. But as I got older, I'd be like, I think I'm going to hold on to the handlebars because I don't want to die. And as I've got older with models and everything else I do, drawing and stuff, it's less creative and less instinctive and more like, should I do that or should I do the other thing or should I do this thing or what shall I do here? And I've got kind of a bit timid and it's kind of annoying. But when I do just go, you know, balls to the wall and just glue stuff together and paint it, it's most enjoyable. E2, E3. But when I get all a bit fussy and delicate and like, can I do this or can I not? I get really annoyed with myself. I think it must be an age thing. Because, you know, I'm really old now. E2, E3. Snappity, 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 break. Oops, sadness. E2, E3, E4, and E5. E4 is a bit that looks like that. Or that, and E5, which is a small lippity thing. That one there. Yeah. Big connections on this one. Right. Get this thing cleaned up. So this one. Chamfered edge, so I can't just go straight. Go. Tink. Not too bad there. So I can just snip that one off. Have a look at chat in a moment. These are enormous, so I've got to be careful with these. I've got to make sure I get the nippers right along the nub. Don't cut from the tip. Quick way to knack your god hands. Quick and expensive way. When you live in the UK, it's a very expensive way to knack your god hands. Oh yeah. Oh, that's gone. There. That sounded like my wet palette, and it was my wet palette. That's the wrong nippers. Right, I nearly broke my god hands then. That would have been sadness. Let's get that from there. Ping. Now I can go in with the god hands. Maybe. That I can't get to. There. Next. When you get a nub and it's right against a corner, and I can't do anything but use the tips of nippers, which is never a good idea. Get violent with these ones and snipulate them off. I'm really quite hungry. So, time for some hot knife action. Not literally hot knife, obviously, but you know. You're probably not going to see these edges anyway because they're all sort of interior fitments and stuff, but I don't know yet, so I shall not make any assumptions. These are the trickly ones because they're quite big. I have to file them flat. Yes, how is everyone? I hope you're all well. I'm kind of running out of things to talk about. I'm busy doing this. There's no other news I can impart to you that's happened in the world to report, in the world of me, that would be of any interestings. Fluff. Clean that bit up, and this bit. Very keen not to gouge, as little as possible, gouge anything out. Going too heavy with the knife of stability. I'll come back in with the file of fidelity. Doesn't really work, I know. Around that way around. Notice I'm going that way with the file and not just that way, just to try and help avoid making a rut or a thinner or wider area. Just try and maintain the straight edge, like a little raised lip. So you're a little raised lip. Yes, I know. Thank you. These are big enough to need filing. I can simply sandulate them with a sandulator. These were such small nubs that I can just quickly sand them away like that. It's fine. Know your tools and know which ones are the right ones to use at which time. And a tip for you, if you're sanding and you're getting the sanding marks, like little sanding scratches going in one direction, do that for a bit and then just flip it round and do it the other way. And then that way. And then that way. What you're doing when you're sanding, for some reason filing doesn't do it as much, but when you're sanding, you're putting little striations that follow the line of sanding. So let's say you sand in that direction, you get these little striations like that. And the reason you go up the grits, you go from rough to medium to smooth, is to sand away those striations and get a smooth surface. But if you get like marks like that, to get rid of them or to blend them away, you can put marks like that and that and that, and you take it from being lots of stripes to just the rough surface. Handy little way of getting rid of any sanding marks. If you're not bothered about a pristine smooth finish, then you can do that. It's a lot quicker. Now what I shall do is I shall that there, and in the hope that I can get it apart again. You're even going to see that? Is that even going to be visible? I don't know. I do not know if you'll see that, but I need to make sure it's flat. So maybe tricky to do it without having it glued first. I may have to glue this first and then file it. In fact, I'm going to leave, yeah, I need to make sure there's no big step there, and I don't know if they're supposed to have a slight camber to them. So what I shall do, I'll get that glued together first before I file those down, just to make sure when I do file them down, it's nice and even. Nice and even on the Feast of Stephen. I don't know where I'm going with that. I said the word feast and I'm still hungry. All I can think about is pasta. Mm. Apologies if I'm not doing chat at the minute. I'm just busy sandulating. I shall be with you momentarily. You may start your landings now. You may notice I'm going a lot slower than I normally do when I'm doing these. It's because I'm trying to teach myself building patience. You know, I always say I'm a painter, not a builder. I say that every episode, but because I don't always enjoy the building process as much as the painting process, and I tend to rush through it. But I want to knock the camera and then drop the brush. I want to get out of the habit of doing that. I want to start forcing myself to enjoy the building process, or at least not rush through it to get to the other side. Because my feeling is that if I start to embrace the construction side more, then it might get to the point where I am more adventurous and I start doing little custom things. And because as those little rivets have shown me, doing my little rivets show me, I can actually get enjoyment from the building side of it. And I'm keen to make the most of that. So I'm starting by forcing myself to be more patient and more careful with the building side, to take my time, work a bit slower, try and get into that kind of Zen frame of mind, zoned out frame of mind, chill and relax, and hopefully I'll see it less of a chore and I'll see it less of as a thing that I have to impatiently work my way through. That's my plan anyway. Whether it'll work, who knows? Is that possible, Colin? It says Colin. Yeah, but I don't know. All an experiment. Experiment. An experiment was carried out to see if fox can enjoy building. Write that down. Oh, dropping. And it does help a bit when I'm doing it on a stream as well. Because if I'm just sat here by myself and I'm, say, listening to a podcast or something and I'm doing this, there's nothing to stop me going, I can't be asked, screw it, I'll just do this and then I'll paint over that and you won't see it. Or this bit's never going to be seen, forget it, I'll just leave it. But when I'm doing it on camera, of course, it's bare to the world, you can see everything I'm doing. So, big of water. So I can't really do too much hiding and secreting of things. And it forces me to be a bit more thoughtful and careful. Right, now we need to do E88, E88, and E88. Okay, we've got part E88, but also part E88 and part E88. Don't ever change, GW. Don't ever change. And when they say E88, what they actually mean is part E11. This is going to be interesting. This now, I can see where this is going to go now. So when they say E88, they mean E11. So I'll take E11 off because that's what they mean by E88. Wow, numbers are hard. Then we also have part E88, or as we like to call it, part 13, and part E88, which is in fact part 12. So now I have no idea which one is which. Oh well, because they are actually different. Never mind. Let's find out by doing experiments. It's like orc numbering, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, E88. Yeah. Don't ever change, G-dubs. Don't ever change. Have a quick look at the chat, see what chat's doing. No-hander, Fox. That's it. No-hander. I'm doing a no-hander. It's like doing a wheelie. I used to ride around the block when I'm doing no-handers. Oh, hello. Flavourless burps. It's kind of disturbing. Well, it's a... excuse me. It is more... well, I'll start again. Jesus Christ. Mayhem Model Works. Well, it is a more modern kit, Fox. I don't know what I was doing at the time there. It's a left-hand drive, hence only one handrail. Ah. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going live tomorrow morning, as it's my son's birthday, so probably be Tuesday, says Underdog. Yeah, don't do a live stream when it's your kid's birthday, unless he's out. Yeah, just spend time with your kid. Timothy Kalako posted a thing in the boom hut. I shall have a look later. Beaky helmeted blade guard. Cool. Fox, can I ask, how do you keep your bench so clean? Asks Common Road Junction. The bit you can see is clean. Let's move on from that. Yeah, you mean the cutting mat? Is when I do actual painting, it's not actually that clean. On a webcam it looks clean, but it's kind of splotchy little bits of paint. But when I do actual painting, I have a second cutting mat that I put down called the scruffy cutting mat, which is yours. See, there you go. See, that's the it's a smaller one. So when you see me doing painting on a video, I'm using this little cutting mat purely to keep this thing clean, because there's nothing worse than having to buy a whole new cutting mat for 17 quid because I spilled paint on it on the old one. Yeah, I had a couple of these ones, these grey ones, and I spilled some glue on one bit, but it wasn't a bit you would see. And then one day I cleaned it. Now I clean this with isopropyl alcohol. I get some I squirt some isopropyl alcohol on, and I wipe it quickly with some tissue. It doesn't take the pattern off. One day I forgot, and I got some airbrush cleaner and squirted it on the bench and wiped it with the tissue, and it took all the pattern off the mat. So I had to go and replace, and it was on. I've got two mats here, so I had to replace this mat and that mat. I had to replace the originals, which were the same as these, because I'd wiped the pattern off, and it's like that looks stupid on camera. And they're like 15 or 16 quid. These, I'm like, it's quite a big mats. They're like A1 size or something. Enormous ones. So yeah, I just have this, and I tend to do any painting and messy stuff, I put down a second mat. But having a filthy mat is normal. It will happen. I just have to be a bit more careful because I've got to be on camera. So the rest of the bench is an absolute, let's just be honest, it's an absolute shit tip. There's dust on everything, there's stuff piled up. Yeah, the rest of the bench you don't see it very often. When I did the interview that I was doing yesterday, I had to have a bit of a dust because you see the bench behind me. Had to have when you see me on the Monday night show, you see the bench a distance away, you can't see all the dust and build up. So yesterday was a frantic dusting session. Clean all my lamps on the bench, they're all covered like an inch of dust because I never go near them. I just turn them on and off. So yeah. Just a general question for everyone, says Candygram. What was your favourite model and why? Big fat Eagle Transporter, because it's a big fat Eagle Transporter. Also, it wasn't too hard to build. It's also it's like 35 feet long, and it's an Eagle Transporter. End of conversation. I just wish I didn't have to give it away. I can't build another one because I don't want to build another one. Once I've built something, I don't really want to build another one if I can avoid it. Something like that. Once I've built the one, I don't really want to go back and do another one. I just spotted something. Oh no. Thought I made a horrendous error with the leg armors, but I didn't. Yeah, so I don't know if I can build another one because it's an expensive kit, but B, I've done it once. I don't want to do it again, really. Where are we? The model in front is always my favourite, says Timothy. This is true. Halfway through building the model I'm building, I'll get bored and want to build something else. That's the worst thing about me. Comrade Junction says, good question, Jeff. I don't think I have one yet. I haven't built enough. Tough question, it says Eon Car, because I've got a few. A model I have a special place in my heart for is or was the Tamiya Saladin armoured car, the first 135th kit I ever bought. If I was doing that kind of soft place in my heart, I would say the Tamiya 135th Russian T62A, because that was the first kit I ever painted. Properly painted, with proper paints and everything. My dad bought it for me and he said, if you're going to do it, if you're going to do this model making thing, I've been doing it for years as a kid. Stop making them play with his toys. Get a model, paint it properly. I'll get you a kit, I'll get you the paints. He took me to the shop, bought me the paints and the kit, and that was it. Russian T62A. I must do that one. I must get one and do that again one day. Caution isn't an age thing, says Joseph Kelly. It's responsibilities. You have to make it work in severely limited time. No, it's not that. I don't think. I mean, that's the reason I stopped doing commissions, because they sucked and it was horrible. But there's no limited time, really. It's just I sit there and I whereas before I just get the thing and paint it. Now I'm like, oh, do I want to do this bit, or shall I do that bit first? Or if I do that, well, I overthink things. Things that I do all the time, like weathering, I do all the time, but I sit there and overthink every single one and panic I'm doing it wrong. It's really weird. I have just heated up some leftover dumplings from game night and my best friend's house, says Timothy. Oh, no, I want Chinese. Oh, god damn it. Having pasta. On the bench is on the bench, says Timothy, is 2,100 points of Dark Angels. Ooh, cool. I'm having a luncheon meat sandwich. I know what it is and I don't care. It's nasty good. The Raging Modeler is currently living in 1986. No, let's go better. 1983, because that was a proper school lunchbox. That was luncheon meat sandwiches. Oh yes, good girl. I like luncheon meat. Peck's nicer, but luncheon meat's all right. Where are we up to? Panzer says about the Tamiya Saladin. He says, for many years I tried getting one from Fleabay, but I kept getting outbid. They're releasing a lot of them now. I didn't know a lot of Tamiya kits were withdrawn and never remade. I mean, they're still making some of their early 70s kits, so I'm surprised they don't do it anymore. Comrade Junction says, the best one I built so far is the Tamiya Panzer IV. How is your hand, Fox? The hand's fine. That day when it was being really painful, it was fine the next day. I think the day before I'd done Skyrim Saturday. And because I've got the head, when I play Skyrim myself normally, I just rest the controller on my lap and play. When I've got a Skyrim Saturday going, I have the headphones on which connect into the controller so I can hear the game audio. And I can't rest it on my lap because then the little lead that comes out gets jammed up against the lap and it bends it. And I don't want to damage the connector on the controller or the socket on there or the connector on the headphones. So I have to kind of hold it weirdly. And I think I was just kind of cramping my hand a bit and it's fine then the next day. Absolutely fine. But thank you for asking. Is that possible? Model making guru, lol. What, me go? Oh, that's yes, me going carefully. Eon says the Lego Barnacle set, Pharaoh and Skirmix. It was fun and a good build. Ooh, I heard the word barnacle for a long time. Panzer says 20 years ago I preferred the painting to the building. Now I much prefer the building process. I do enjoy. That's the weird thing. Although I don't like the building process, I do enjoy the building process sometimes. If I want a palette cleanser or I just want to do something at the bench but I'm not in the mood to do proper painting, I'll just build some Imperial Guard dudes. Because it's just clean up and stick. Because they're so simple to clean up and there's no complicated building there. It's just clean up and stick, clean up. And I can build Imperial Guard dudes. That's why I've got millions of them. I can happily sit and clean them up and build them all day long. I have a soft spot for Imperial Guard. They all look really grumpy. Michael Storman's in. He says, evening all. Welcome, Michael. £17 they saw you coming. I don't know what that was. Got confused now. Oh, for the mats. No, they are enormous mats. Not that little one. This one it's got the size on it somewhere, but I think the size is over there. It's enormous. It's like I've got a 6 foot long table and I've got 2 mats over it. So these are big. A0 or something. Hang on, clear my throat. But they're also self-healing and grey. Grey is important. If you ever intend on doing YouTube and stuff, a green cutting mat is your worst enemy. Just trust me on that. It really kills your white balance. I struggled for years until I got these. And I'm like, you know what? This isn't ideal. It's not perfect, but it's much better than a green cutting mat. A cream colour. Much better for white balance. That's a cool ring, Fox. Thank you. If you look on Amazon, there are some small desktop vacuum cleaners that are awesome for cleaning up the cuttings and dust. Yes, I must get myself one of them. Lee says that. I must get myself one of them. I keep meaning to. Darren Edmonds, so welcome Darren, says, yeah, the Eagle, my favourite as well. It's a beautiful kit. It's so easy to build. It's not complicated. It went together like a dream. Some of it you can push fit. You have to remember it's a reproduction of the studio model, though, not a reproduction of the actual Eagle transporter idea. So the figures inside, people have complained that it's not got a proper cockpit. And you have to say to them, it's not got a cockpit because it's not a model of an Eagle transporter. It's a model of the model that they used in the studio to film. which had a board with 2 Gemini 124 figures stuck on it and no cockpit. They're making a reproduction of the filming. It's literally a reproduction of the filming miniature, not a reproduction of the idea of an Eagle transporter, which is not something you often see. It's very rare you ever see that. Usually when you get a model of something from a film or TV, it's a reproduction of the thing, like the Colonial Viper or whatever it is. Not very often you get a reproduction of the filming miniature, and I have to applaud them for that. I do have to applaud them for that. The other reason they probably went for that, though, there is also a practical reason for that, which was probably quite important in their decision making, was that the cockpit for the Eagle transporter doesn't actually fit in the command module for the Eagle transporter. The actual thing they sat in and filmed, actors, in no way would ever fit inside the thing on the model that's the command module. They're 2 different shapes and sizes. There's no weird branch of physics you could use to get that cockpit to fit inside that cockpit on the model. So they probably had that in mind as well. Be like, you know what, we're not gonna let's just make it. Let's just copy the studio model. There we go, much better. But yes, that's quite funny. Oh yeah, that large Eagle transporter will be an excellent build. I wish I could remember some of the kits I built so I could take a second try. Yeah, it is a beautiful, but if you ever get the chance to get it, it's not cheap, but it's worth it. If you ever get the chance to get one, do it. Now, I would say your best bet is to get the limited edition one that has all the extra water slide decals. Absolutely, that's the best one you want, but I don't know if it even exists anymore. But I don't even know if you can get the decals separately now. I don't know. But because otherwise you've got to paint on all the little colour panels manually, and that's kind of a bit tricksy. If I was going to do another one, it'd have to be the one with all the extra the cartograph decals. I couldn't be doing painting on all the little squares. But yeah, if you ever get the chance to build that one, do it. Do it. Don't even think about it. It's such a great... It's not a hard, complicated build at all. Not complicated at all. Little bit of filling needed on the command module. Not complicated. But I use sprue goo. It's that easy. Bit of filing. Goes together like a dream. Few fiddly bits, but nothing squirrely. Building the frame for the spine. As long as you've got a absolutely flat surface to work on, you'll be fine. You do need an absolutely flat, 100% flat surface. Make sure it all lines up. But other than that, no problem. Anybody who's built old wooden planes and stuff in the past and pinning things to a wooden board, they'll have no problem with that. Yeah, it's one of those kits. One of those kits you have to. If you ever get the chance to make it, just do it. Try and get the ones with the decals, the extra decals. And it is big. It'll take up a lot of space. It'll look impressive on your shelf. But more for me, it was more just my childhood. It was something I remembered. I've always, from being a little kid, when I was a little kid, I used to love Space 1999. When I became an adult, I realised it was pretty much garbage. Well, season 2 was. Season 1 was alright. But yeah, no, the ship itself is a beloved ship from my childhood. There's no way I'm not going to build an Eagle transporter. And the smaller kits just don't cut it because they're kind of a bit lumpy and they've not got gaps in the framing and stuff. The smaller kits, they're alright, but they're not as impressive. That thing with its wiggly feet and legs and stuff. Yeah. There's also loads of aftermarket photo etch and stuff, and I would recommend swapping out the springs for different springs. I can't remember who sent me some. I think somebody sent me some springs. Apparently, the springs on that one on the kit are a bit either too flippy floppy or they're too stiff. I can't quite remember which. But yeah, it's a good kit. That great kit. It's one of my all-time favourite sci-fi vehicles as well. That's the reason why I liked it so much. I remember I said it before, but I remember reading an interview. It was an article, actually, not an interview. It was an article. They were talking about. They did interviews with like the guy Brian Johnson that made it and stuff. And at one point, wherever it was in some like magazine, I think going back in the day, and they spoke to a NASA engineer, and said, you know, what do you think of the Eagle transporter as a NASA engineer who has built actual spacecraft? You know, how realistic is it? How potentially viable would it be? The Eagle transporter, and the guy was like, well, aside from the fact it's got, you know, made up hand wavy and propulsion system that doesn't need an enormous fuel tank, forget that, because that's just a little bit of sign, you know, the artistic license. It's got its, I can't remember if they're fusion engines or something, but there's some the engines in them are such that they don't need to carry tons of fuel. Anyway, he said aside from the magicy hand wavy propulsion, you know, fuel source that they use, he said it's probably like he said we could kind of build it now. There's nothing in the Eagle transporter that couldn't be built now, apart from the made up sci-fi fuel source or engine source, whatever it might be. He said other than that, the engineering to physically make an Eagle it makes perfect sense. The frame gives it rigidity and keeps it lightweight. It makes it modular. Being modular is an absolute dream because you can use it for different mission profiles. The idea of a command module and the engines at the end is spot on. He said it's how we would, if we were designing an Eagle transporter, that's how we design it. Just without the made up. If we had access to a made up hand wavy fuel source that didn't require fuel tanks the size of Brazil. That's the one caveat, you see. I can't remember. I think it might have been fusion engines, but I'm not sure. But he was like, yeah, in terms of engineering, it's absolutely spot on. It's if I was designing a vehicle to do what that vehicle does, it would be along those lines. You know, multi-mission profile, so you can swap out bits and bobs. Spot on. I think that's why I always liked it, because it was believable compared to your other bits and bobs, other vehicles you get. It looks like a real thing rather than made up sci-fi spankiness. Always had a soft spot for it. It's just a shame that as you grow up, you realise how bad Space 1999 actually was. It's not the best. It was not the best. I need a different sounding stick. I need, not that one. Hang on. I need to get my half ripped apart one. So I can get this in there, you see. Get it in there and rubbage around. This is like doing the Eagle talking of Eagle transporter, this ladder, this frame bit here is like doing the frame bit on the Eagle transporter. If you do get yourself that Eagle, get one of these. It will make cleaning up the scaffolding frame parts a billion times faster and a billion times easier. You'll thank me, trust me. When you're doing the frame, you just trust me. You'll thank me. Right. So how does this nonsense go together? Oh, I didn't even need to get these bits off yet. I was on this page here, and without realising, I turned the instructions over, and I'm on this page, and I'm like, I've not even done any of that yet. Fox, you are just the world's biggest chump. All of that was completely unnecessary. Oh, well, never mind. There you go. Nice and shiny. Right, so let's get back to basics. I'm such an idiot. I'm such an idiot. What's chat doing? 1970s telly was great, but guess what used to get called at school? Says Panzer Koenig. I don't know. I don't know what used to get called. The Raging Modeler says it's not as bad as Terrorhawks. Oh dear God. Yes, I did. Again, fond memories of Terrorhawks as a kid made me go off and find some and watch it, and there are no redeeming qualities about Terrorhawks at all. Apart from it's got Windsor Davies in it. Other than that, there's nothing good about Terrorhawks in any way, shape, or form. There's nothing you can say that makes it just no. Terrorhawks is just no. It's just no, basically. You can't. Why they decided to go with weird, squishy puppet things that just look like they're kind of doing the O face every time they talk. And I watched one episode, and it kind of made no sense at all. Because the story didn't really flow. It was like Here's the situation. Now I'm going to shout at this guy. Now there's some aliens, and now we're doing a vehicle and end moral. What? What? Yeah, there was. Yeah, there were no. Oddly enough, there were no likable characters in Terrorhawks. After watching a few now, it's like I don't like any of the characters. And the voice for Zelda was really, really horrible. For Zelda's cousin or son or brother or whatever it was, whatever it was called, that was a really horrible voice. Good about this. Don't watch Terrorhawks. Don't be like Fox. Don't watch Terrorhawks. Right, so we have here this here. You'll see. I've just glued that together, but this is a hinge. And the little rod's going there. And I can't glue that together because I don't want to get glue on the hinge and make it not open and closable. After doing just that one little bit there, I've now got to sit here and wait. Oh well. Terrorhawks, that's just bad puppetry. Zelda from Terrorhawks, just nightmare fuel for a kid. It really was. Dear Lord. Well, seeing as I've cut these bits off, and I can't do this yet, I might as well have pull this little roll cage. I'm going to regret this fantastically, aren't I? Because it's going to be a really wibbly-wobbly construction that needs the other bits built first. Find out. It should be that way, I think. And it will basically go together like that. Oh, yeah, no, that's going to require... I'm not going to glue this together until I've got the other bits ready. Because there's a lot of room for wigglage on that. Not getting it in the right angle. So I need to be able to put this together and then put it on the thing and make sure everything's lined up correctly. But yeah, we're not going to build that. Not building that yet. No. That's not going to happen. Can't do the next step till I've done that step. Okay, I'm knackered now. Can't do anything now. Hinge, says Mayhem. Yes, UFO in Space 1999, a vital part of Sunday afternoon in the 70s. Otherwise, it was religious, farming, gardening, and sports shows. Back when telly was just 3 channels. Rubbish. A wistful part of me longs to return to the 1970s just to see what they were like as an adult, to experience them. But then the realistic part says, yeah, but the telly was crap, the food was crap, everything was crap, the beer was crap, nightlife was crap, anything, there was nothing to do, everyone was poor, everything smelled, everything that was terrible. But I still want to go back and experience, because it's the 1970s is the one decade I've not experienced as an adult, or as a cogent, intelligent individual. When you're a child, your brain isn't fully formed. You don't have critical thinking skills. You don't have that proper. You've not fully developed your brain workings. So, and because for most of the 70s, your proper long-term memories don't really start forming until you're sort of 6 or 7 years old. So you might have little bits of memories of being a kid. For most people, where's my tweezers? Where are my tweezers? No, where are my tweezers now? Put them down. I put them down in a place, and the place I put them down in, you don't start forming all your proper real long-term memories till you're about 6 or 7 years old. So for the most of the 70s, I have no memory of them, other than bits and bobs which give me this false idea. So yes, I want to go back to the 70s, and I wish I could, just to experience them as a proper, fully brain-functioning adult. Well, let's say fully brain-functioning. Maybe not, eh? Right, so that came out all right in the end, with the foot that's not on camera. That came out all right. That's very dark. I do apologise. I don't know why things so dark. Brighten things up a little bit. Have I got a light turned off or something? Right. Adjust the brightness and colour and stuff. That might be too overexposed now. Yes, that came out all right, that foot. It's got a slight animation to it, like he's just lifting up his foot. The feet are a bit more angled. I like that. Even though it's only one foot that does it, you can switch them round. I like that compared to the Imperial Knight, where you've got no option but to have them just standing there without major surgery, which I have no intention of doing. Not too bad, that. I can't do anything more on the cockpit until that's dried for a bit. Fudge. I don't remember soaps being on Sundays, says Panzer, not in the 70s. That was an 80s thing. I read that as religious farming, says Mayhem Model Work. Oh, you met the Mormons then. Yeah, soap repeats and omnibus editions started in the noughties. Was it, or was it the late 80s? Because EastEnders started in 1985. I think they were the first. EastEnders. Oh, wait, actually. Because Brookside used to do it as well, but was that actual separate episodes? I think it was 80s. Because it was between Brookside and EastEnders in those days, because Coronation Street was still just like 3 or 4 nights a week. Telly also finished at midnight, and they used to play the national anthem on the BBC. On ITV, on Granada, they had a piece of music called the New Granada theme, written by Keith Mansfield. And I love that piece of music. There's one that's the start of day, which is a long version of it, and the one at the end was this piece of music called New Granada theme. It may have only been specific to Granada TV in the Granada region, I don't know. But here where I am in the Granada region, they played that. And I spent I spent maybe 15 years trying to find that. Because when I grew up, it was there every night. I'd go to bed and I'd hear the music, and it was in my head all the time. It was a beautiful piece of music. And I never knew what it was. And then the internet came along, and then I found out it was this piece by Keith Mansfield. And I managed to find it. Probably about 10 or 15 years later, I found it. And it's one of my most treasured pieces of music. Unfortunately, I've only got a mono recording of it because it was never played in stereo, and it was never released anywhere. And it's not available on a KPMG or any of the libraries where you get that kind of music. A lot of Keith Mansfield stuff's on the KPMG library. And it was written specifically for Granada, so it was specifically for them. And so I gave up hope of ever hearing a stereo version of it, because the master recording was used once to make the one they broadcast on TV. And then, about a year and a half ago, late 2019, I found out who actually has all the copyright and rights to that piece of music. It's Sony AMG. Is Sony AMG? I think Sony AMG. I was actually mailing them about a different piece of music for Ted. He was inquiring about using a piece of music, and I said, because we knew who had the rights to it. And I said, well, I've got you there. Do you actually have the rights to the New Granada theme? So, yeah, we have the rights to that. Because I've never been able to get hold of Keith Mansfield, and I wanted to use it. I would love to use the New Granada theme as my pre-roll music and as my close-down music at the end of a live streams. I would give my spleen to do that. That's what I would make my official Model Making Guru channel live stream close music. Apart from this stream with the cool title sequence, that would be my official pre-roll and close music. Because my dad used to work for Granada, so there's a kind of personal link there. It was where my dad used to work for many years. So, and I contacted them last year and said, I want to I want to inquire about using this piece of music. I've been waiting for like 10 years to find someone who would know how to get access to use it, rights to use it. And I contacted them, and we were having this discussion about, this is how I'd like to use it. And then the conversation just stopped. The emails from them just stopped. And it was in the middle of the lockdown last year, so that could be it. But yeah, it's the conversation got halfway there. And it may well be because I said I'm tiny and I earn very little money and I can't pay £1,000 rights to use it every time. But I don't know. So I basically was saying, how much will it cost me to use this piece of music on my YouTube channel? What will it cost me to have the right to use it? And I never heard back. So I'll chase them up at some point when the world's back to normal. But I would give my spleen, all my spleens, to use that piece of music. So if anybody just happens to know Keith Mansfield, or the guys at, there's a guy called Hamish at Sony AM. I think it's Sony AMG. It's the Sony copyright. There's like the big Sony music library. It's with them for some reason. It was written for Granada. It was never used anywhere else. So it's probably never ever been asked to be used anywhere else. You just let me know if you just happen to know the right people, because I want to know. Hopefully, I was kind of hoping that I'd be able to swing them to let me just use it for like a small one-off fee of a few £100, which I could scrape together. But I don't know. Because it's not like it's a piece of music that everybody else is going to use. Nobody's ever used it for anything other than the Granada startup and close down. So, hey. Anyway, so I nearly got to the point where I could use it. It would be my dream to use that. Hello everyone, I'm here, says Speedy Q8, but up to my elbows in general grunge. Brief making a coffee break. I hope all are well. Welcome, Speedy Q8. Welcome. And full of yummy belly things, yes. We had an awkward moment on an event recently where we had to explain what a test card was to the apprentices. Oh dear. We all felt old. Yeah, true. Well, we are all. That's it. I'm up to date with the chat, and I can't do anything. I've made an onion ring. If I try putting that in there now, is it going to end in sadness? Because it's all glued together. All glued together. That's in your head now. It will be all right with that. Move that out of the way. That will go. There's these little foot plates where the little driver's foot plates go. See, time flies by when you're the driver of an Invictus battlesuit, standing on the foot plate there and back again. How the heck is this supposed to go in right? That goes in there like that. This goes together like that. Can I do this way? Oh, that's the back. Okay, that's the back bit. I might not need to get rid of those nubs in that. If that's the back, I might not need to get rid of those nubs. Or even in English, I might not need to get rid of those nubs. Use your actual words, Fox, not your imaginary words. Okay, so there's that bit. We can do that bit now then. I'd walk 1,000,000 miles for one of your smile. Yeah, moving on. E22, that needs to be flippity floppity. And then we have the bit that goes inside. So what I can do, I can glue that bit now, actually. Woo! With the gluing. Doing the gluing. Yeah, if there's a bit of armor panel that goes over this back piece here, I may not need to even clean those nubs. And that will be maximum happiness. That was a lot of glue on the brush right at that moment. Never mind. I need to glue it at the back there. That's fine. Gluage and squishage. It's like Dad's bum. That bit's glued and squished. Let us put the lid back on the glue for obvious reasons. We need part E6. Now, is it going to actually be E6 or is it going to have a completely different number? Let's guess, shall we? Oh, it is actually E6. Excellent. We'll put that there. We'll get part E6 off. It's got really small connectors, so I should use my expensive cutters even. Because this also provides some structural reinforcementings to the cockpit area. Ooh, my area. Trim that bit. Carefully. Carefully. Stay on target. Stay on target. Luckily, the sides here, I think, are contact surfaces anyway, so it doesn't matter if they're not perfect because they're just the bits that get glued in. It's fine. Was there another nub? Tiny one here. Put that there. Laid away. First transport is away. First transport. Quick sandage. Again, this is a contact surface, so you're not going to see this. It's never going to get painted. And then this needs to go in. Oh, that moved then and made me panic. I thought I'd broken something. That needs to go in there like there. So it sits on, what does it sit on? It connects to that random little bit there. Oh, like that. Oh, yes. Most efficacious. We can use some fat glue for this. Fat glue time. Gentlemen, prepare your fat glue. Little tab there. Goes on like that. It's in. Lovely. Like a glove. Actually goes in really nicely, that. Does fit together rather pleasantly. I think you'll find. I'm assuming I've got it lined up correctly. For all I know, I've got it in the wrong place, and that would be sadness. I can reinforce that with some extra thin. Now it's in place. My belly's making noises. My belly's doing the rumblies. I'm having pasta thoughts. Yeah, a little bit of glue splooged out there, so I'll need to clean that up later. Well, there's going to be a dude sat on top of it, so I'll just, if you get any splooge glue of the fat stuff, just wipe it away with some extra thin, you'll be fine. just melt it away. Like I said, there will be a guy sat on there anyway. That's the seat where the dude goes. That's that bit. Bit of structural reinforcement things. Was that the frog's chorus, Fox? Yes, it's in your head now. Got a friend in Mansfield who might know someone called Keith. You're a pain, you are. Candygram says, I've got a couple of your watch videos queued up for viewing later today. Thanks for people posting them. Oh, yeah, cool. For more on, I'm hankering for more Iron Man already. I see how Chris gets addicted to these. Oh, yeah, I get addicted to them and they stop sending them to me. Burpage. That was a void burp again. Oh. If I want a burp, if I'm going to burp, I want a burp that tastes like something delightful, like beef or, I don't know, fudge or something. But void burps that have no flavour. Apart from the fact they're disturbing, oh, hang on. I've done something terrible. Hang on. Emergency situation. Where's the centre? Where's the centre? It's about there. There you go. You wonder why I do that. Now you know it's because it's roughly where the centre of the screen is, so I know where to point my camera. And I know where to put my hands, so I'm reasonably in shot. Unfortunately, I fail miserably most of the time, I forget. Trumpton, Chigley and Camberwick Green, 3 of the greatest kids telly ever made. Very surreal to watch as an adult. Yeah, and I used to love the cars. I wanted models of all the cars. When Comero Junction says, was that the Frog's Chorus? If you meant time flies by when you're the driver of a train, that's the Camberwick Green, I think it was. The Clangers were my favourite, says Panzer. Magic Roundabout and the Wombles. Yeah. Parsley and the Herbs. Wow, you are now showing your age. Parsley and the Herbs, good God. Didn't that start off in black and white? Excuse me. The thing I remember about Parsley and the Herbs was that Parsley had this nose that looked like a big dod of jelly. It was over jam. It looked shiny, and it was like a shiny teardrop shape of jam. Don't know why I remember that one. I don't remember nothing else about it, apart from that one thing of his nose looking like a big teardrop of jam. Mary, Mungo and Midge. Mayhem You Something. I now have that in my head, says Panzer. Yep. Hartley Hare, which wasn't actually called Hartley Hare. It was called Pipkins. I would strongly recommend that you go and read up about Hartley Hare and Pipkin on Wikipedia, because when we used to watch it as a kid, it was just funny. When you read about it as an adult, you realise all the adult themes that were in that series that were never revealed openly to children, but the adults would have got it, like, you know, Hartley Hare's sexuality and how he was actually really manipulative and Hartley Hare was actually really kind of self-centered and narcissistic and very manipulative and demanding. And when you read up about it and you realise that as an adult, you look at his character, he's actually a nasty piece of work, Hartley Hare, in a lot of ways. He was an abusive kind of manipulator, and it's quite weird to see that in a kids program, which we would never have twigged to. But when you watch it now, you're like, yeah, he's a real like diva, manipulative, insistent on getting his own way. It's quite dark, real dark. Like a fat Ed 902, isn't it? Like a head. Yeah. Right, got to go feed the cat and sort out some dinner, says Lee Stevenson. Thanks for coming in, my friend. Take care. Give your cat a scritch from us. And we shall see you next time. What time are we on? 38. Okay. We want part number... Oh, E1 we've got to do. E1 is... Or E88 as we like to call it. Why not? E1 is a flat bit with 2 nipples on it. Oh no, a flat bit with 1 nipple on it. There we go. Got to see it's got a tit on it. See? Colin knows what we mean. Lid on the glue. Snippety, snippety, snip, snip, snaroo. God, I hate Dick Van Dyke when he plays anybody other than the bloke from the medical thing. You know, like Disney going around and sort of archiving a lot of their old movies that have questionable content in by today's standards. You know, they're either putting warnings on them saying this may contain content which you may not like because some of the content's a bit racist. To be honest, but I think they should do the same thing for all the content where Dick Van Dyke played a Cockney. They should just put caution: you may harbour murderous thoughts, and also vast apologies to anybody who actually lives in England. They should just make all those movies illegal now. He redeemed himself with Diagnosis Murder, where I actually came to like Dick Van Dyke and that, but up until that point, he was Fox's #1 wanted. He was like persona non grata in this household. Cool, blimey, Mary Poppins! No, we don't speak like that. And now I send the assassins after you. The black sacrament has been carried out, and your name has been placed on the sheet. You have no recourse from this now. Once that black sacrament is done, that's it. It's assassins all the way. But then Diagnosis Murder was good, and he kind of made up for it. So yeah, we let him off now. We like him now. Not watched Diagnosis Murder for a long time. Wow, that's an old time, isn't it? I probably, if I watch it now, I'll probably hate it. But I quite like Diagnosis Murder. It's like, you know, I quite like the way he played the character. It was quite good. Like stupid Columbo, but not didn't play it as to the fool as much as Columbo, and he wasn't quite as disorganized, or theoretically disorganized. How many of you now got chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiroo in your head? All of you. You are more than welcome. Why you come to my streams for quality content, education, information, and earworms. You know what the Germans call an earworm? Earworm. But in German. Right, what we're doing on now. Which is Ohrwurm. Just in case you're wondering, I do know what it is. This needs to go like that, apparently. Like there. Oh, look at that. Lovely fit there. Like a glove. Right, so I can spong that on there. A little bit of sanding on that corner. That will spong into that. I've got to be careful, though, not to get any glue near this little hinge joint, because that will be absolute maximum sadness. So let's carefully go in. Touch. Touch. Bit there. Touch. And we'll do a little bit here. A bit here. And if we're lucky, we ain't got no glue near the wiggly bit. I'd walk a million. Never mind. Get into that from inside as well. I don't think so. Okay, that should be enough. Little touches of glue on that lip. I can see chat moving. I've inspired rage, haven't I, in somebody with Dick Van Dyke conversations. I can sense that I've inspired rage somewhere. Chim chimney, yeah, there we go. There's Mayhem singing it. Hartley Hare was devious. I saw that as a kid. I was too stupid as a kid. I thought everything was brilliant. I was like a puppy. But looking back at it now, it was a manipulative, self-centered, narcissistic, very, very nasty piece of work. I forgot the classic Mr. Ben. Yep. As if by magic. Right, dinner has about 5 minutes left, just reheating the Yorkshire, so I'll be getting off early. See you next team, says Eon's car. Thank you very much for coming in, my friend. Take care. See you next time. We'll be finishing in a minute anyway. Lol, Fox, we now need Colin to do a Dick Van Dyke impression. Oh, God. Yes. He can do one in my stream, says Dad. No, Mary Poppins. Right, I've just dried off my hands to say, darn it, I've got chin chimney on in my bloody head loop now, says Spit. Yeah, you're more than welcome, my friend. No, I don't. I have Mayhem's rhubarb and custard in my head. That's great. That was the best theme tune for a kids program ever. Really filthy, dirty moog through a really filthy noise gate. You can't beat Quincy. Can't beat Quincy, it's true. Crumply old man. Right, I think what we'll do, we'll leave it there. That reminds me of old Richard Scarry books where they had the backhoes, you know, what we call the diggers with the mouths like that. Eyes and a mouth. We'll leave it there because it's 1:45 now. I'm not really getting much else done. Don't forget, in 15 minutes at 6 p.m, it is Dad and Colin on Scaly Models channel doing his little in-between stream, I think. I could be wrong, but I think it is. So it's Dad and more Colin Festa 67 action going on. So make sure to go and watch that in 15 minutes. I'll finish now, so you've got 10 minutes to go and get yourself a brew and sit and watch. And then tonight at, I assume, 8:30 or 9 p.m, I don't know if it's on for sure. It is Ted's turn to do Warhammer Sunday. But he has had... Edward Leonard's just come in. Hi, Edward. How are the squishies? Hello to the squishies. We're just about to finish, mate. So you've timed it perfectly. Sorry. Yes, Ted has had a bad back all week. I don't know if he'll be streaming tonight. He said he's going to try to, but I don't know if he is. I can't remember if he set a stream up in advance. So do keep an eye on Skipper's Scale Models on the Skipper Ted channel, just to see. He's not in today to say if he's doing or not. But do keep an eye on him. If he can, he will. But he has to go up into the loft and do his streaming. Of course, he's had a bad back all week, so he can't in the loft and sit there for a while. So keep that in mind. Assume that he's streaming, but if not, obviously he won't be. But I shall leave it there. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for Edward for coming in right at the exact last minute. Give the squishies a scritch from us anyway. By scritch I mean squish, because you can't scritch a squishy. You can barely say scritch a squishy. Oh, he's been lurking, and you can get those Eagle decals separately, but they're expensive. Okay, that's cool. That's all right then. I'll pay anything. I don't care. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, of course, big thank you to our patrons and members who make this channel and this content possible. If you'd like to help support this channel, and please, for the love of dog, if you don't already, please consider it, because I need all help I can get. Do keep this channel alive. I do this for my living, and it's not much of a living right now, so do help all if you can. If you want to help the channel and keep it alive, you can become a patron at patreon.com/model making guru, or you can click the join button that's underneath any of my videos or live streams, and either way you'll become a channel member or a patron. You'll get access to content a week in advance, ad-free, some exclusive content, other bits and bobs. So do check it out. If you've been thinking about it, please do check it out. More than worth it. I will love you forever. But until next time, don't forget, of course, Goblin Gaming and eModels. The links to both those stores in the description below the video. Go and check them out. And I will say thank you very much for watching. I will be back tomorrow for the eModels Monday live stream. It's my turn for what's in store tomorrow. God help us. Is it? No. I think it is. It might be me tomorrow. It might be my turn for what's in store tomorrow. God help you all. And then, of course, I will try this week again. I will try and do some more Lehman Russ for the Tabletop Trauma Centre. I will try and get that finished. Again, I've just not had chances. Life takes over all the time. It's a right pain in the bum. I will do my best to get some of that done this week. And then I'll be back, of course, on Friday with the next Canis Rex build for eModels. So do stay tuned for those. But until then, I will say take care of yourselves. Go and watch Dad and Colin in 15 minutes. And hopefully we'll see you all in the chat for that, and for Ted later on. I'll be making my dinner, unfortunately. I'm always making the dinner when Dad does his stream, so I very rarely get to join in the chat. But if Ted streams later on, I'll see you in the chat for that. Take care of yourselves. I'll just make sure my buttons work.
Slap it on.
Yeah, bonus Ted is always nice. Take care of yourselves. Go make something awesome, a bit like this. Go be awesome. And until next time, yes, amoebas.